Hey everybody.
Hi guys, welcome to StarRmazer.tv or Starr Mazer TV if you've come via some other connection. You could always go to StarRmazer.tv though, that'll direct you right to our Twitch stream. Also you can look us up on YouTube. We have a channel, I think you gotta search it because I don't think we have enough subscriptions or whatever yet.
You can fix that.
You can fix it by subscribing and everything. I'm Don Thacker, director of Starr Mazer. This is...
I'm Vanessa Williams. I'm writer for Starr Mazer.
Why did you do that?
It was a little dark on the screen.
No, we have more light.
He decided to become a gaffer. We changed the camera on purpose. Oh, look at that. Okay.
Oh, no,
and this is...
It looks good.
And
it
this
looks
is...
good.
And this is...
No, this is light. This is vision. This is happening.
Yeah.
Oh my
A or
gosh.
B, what
You
looks
were not
better?
asked to do this thing.
Poor Josh.
Alright. Our producers made an executive decision. Alright, continue. You are?
I am Auston Montville, not the executive producer. That's Josh Gelb over there. He's the executive producer. I am Auston Montville. I'm the game developer on Starr Mazer. And we've committed.
We're committed to this lighting scheme.
Like it.
This is what we're doing. So, welcome to Starr Mazer TV. This is our officially 4th episode of Starr Mazer TV. Our first one was but 2 days ago. You'll remember it looked a little different. We're actually gonna keep upgrading. We've got this awesome bar thing down here.
Yeah,
I think.
How's the quality of the video?
Yeah.
Do you guys like? It looks totally different, right? We're
Our
using like a
name
pro
looks
cam.
Amazing. It's
Yeah.
so flash.
Yeah, I got a name
Oh,
right here. Can I?
I'm like,
peek
I'm
at the
like
monitor,
right over the edge
right?
there. Where is it?
Oh,
Look at the
There it
it's
is.
actually here,
I'm like right there.
and then down. There's a delay, so I've got to like figure it out. Yeah,
You
look
can
at
just
that.
scoop it up. Scoop up your name.
I'm gonna grab my names, bros. I'm gonna eat my name. Okay, anyway, that's dumb. We've been doing. There are two different, I guess, styles of Starr Mazer TV. There are informative and informal versions. Informative versions like tonight's Q&A, where we're going to discuss story with you. And you guys can ask all kinds of crazy questions, and it'll be awesome, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. There are also informal ones where we play games and hang out and yell terrible things and scream and yell. And last night, I think we swore a lot and had somebody mail us horchata.
Which is
pretty awesome. Our horchata is gonna be delivered on Monday. And we'll do an horchata unboxing. They sent us 10 16-ounce bottles of horchata, which means
Thank you.
there's 1 ounce of horchata for every $1,000, right? Or 10? Is it 10,000?
So we're gonna like line up the shots.
Yeah, 10,000.
And just
Yeah.
live do shots.
Just do
for
shots.
each horchata shots.
It's gonna be incredible. There's that, and we were also Kepa Rocket Cat mailed us stew because stew has become a thing. I am actually going to eat the stew
Is that what
live.
I'm smelling?
That's what you're smelling.
Oh my! It's so good.
I'm eating the stew
It's
live
so
on
good.
television.
He's not eating all of it. I'm gonna eat.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fuzzyski, you are incredible. Thank you very much for sending us. We have a little.
Oh wow! Oh Fuzziski.
We have a total. It's
Cool.
super cool. We now have a way to see your guys' communication with us. It's nice.
I know Fuzziski. Fuzziski the other night suggested a feature of sound explosion noises. I got to prototype that real quick. It was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what the final version is, but I'll hook you up, Fuzziski. I'll hook you up.
Nice. So what we're going to do is when the sun goes down, we're going to open up these windows a little bit. This light, Josh, can you turn that fucking light off, please? It is bothering the hell out of me. We're all yellow and jaundiced and weird, and I hate it. It's the worst.
I
We
look
did a
good.
thing.
We're in the facility.
Yeah, it's nice. So
I
yeah,
like
this is
this
nice. It's blue, well, nice blue light. The sun's going down. We'll open this thing up over the course of time. We will look better.
It's like you know how to make films and shots
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, almost like that. So
We can now read the stream.
I know. Rafael Velsup says, hello, everyone.
Hi,
Hello. And then Movie Geek 206 says, hey, Fuzz. I think he's talking Fuzzy Ski, right?
Yeah.
So, well, we're not going to say hi to you then. That's fine, Movie
Aww.
Geek. This is a game. Where's a game channel? I don't know why we're talking to you. I'm kidding. They make movies, too. It's the greatest.
We do.
Um,
we do. I write some of those things.
Yeah, I know. It's true. That's what we're going to talk. Don's director skills are showing. Thank you. Normally, actually, my director of photography would take care of the lighting scheme. I would just tell him I want it to look moody or nice or whatever. But unfortunately, my producer decided to be the gaffer tonight and ruined everything for a short period of time. But it's all better
It looks different
on your computer. But that's not the reality. We have a reference monitor right here.
Yeah, that's dark.
That's why we're gonna like look over. We're
That's
just checking,
beautiful.
That's
making
beautiful.
sure it looks
That's
good.
dark as shit.
That's
That's why I
beautiful.
turned it on.
Trust Kazuo.
In Kazuo, I trust.
Oh, Kazuo is over here off screen actually managing our tech stuff.
He runs it.
He's going to pop it in. And of course, Josh Gelb, our producer, is off to the side. We have an executive producer floating around. Our associate producer, Mariah, is actually on stage right now. She's also an actress. You've
what's
seen
she
her.
doing?
I don't know. Some stage
Something on
thing,
stage.
bro.
She mentioned circus.
Cirque
Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's a machine. She was in the sports ball commercial that Imagos Films, our film arm, directed. Actually, Vanessa directed it. I wrote it. Austin made
For
the game.
a 2DX
For a
game.
2DX game. And Mariah was actually that main character, the sports ball player, Swift Thornbrook.
You should definitely check it out after looking at the Starr Mazer Kickstarter.
Right.
Yeah.
That she's gonna just be she's the cute one, so she's gonna talk about the Kickstarter a lot. I tried, but people just get scared away.
That's not true. You were successful to some degree, but you were not drinking out of a Bigfoot mug.
Super Scurry says, "Great to see you guys. How are you all this fine day? Really good. Really
There's been
good.
cool
things
things
are going
going
really
on
good.
today.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but Hyperlight Drifter talked about our crossover today, which is
Yes.
pretty incredible. On an update, a rare update. Hyperlight Drifter has been successfully kickstarted for a couple of years now, so their updates are few and far between, and every time they do an update, it's got a lot of really cool information, like about how the game is progressing. They did an update just for us, which is pretty incredible, talking about how
Thanks, Heart Machine.
thank you, Heart Machine. But how the Drifter is going to show up in the world of Starr Mazer, and how Brick may, probably in an update, show up in Hyperlight Drifter. They're almost done with their game, so us like jack punching
Just
Brick
right
into their
last
game
minute.
right now. Just dump it in. It's fine.
Yeah, add another month. No
Yeah,
big deal.
no. What they're probably going to do is release and then put us in an update. They even say so in the update. But check it out. It's really cool. We're really excited and happy for it. And I think we're going to pick up a few more backers, which is good for everybody. Actually, can I make that announcement now before we get into the story? You think that's probably the...
All right, yeah. We're gonna do an announcement and then load up the questions. 'Cause
Yeah,
we're gonna start talking.
We're gonna talk about
narrative.
story, and basically this is gonna be a free-form thing. We've got all the answers, but we don't necessarily know the format you guys want. So just start asking questions. We'll answer them. But there's an announcement. We'll probably announce it again near the end or somewhere in the middle too. We are running a contest starting tonight/tomorrow morning, because time zones. We are currently at $91,000. That's great. You have a stat? $91,000, 773. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're currently tracking toward more than 110% of our goal, which is awesome, but doesn't hit our stretch goals. So we need to come up with a way to amp that up, because we want to get this game onto Xbox, PlayStation, mobile devices, iOS handhelds. We want to get it to 3DS is my goal, man. That's 300,000. If we get there, 3DS, that's what I want. So we're going to hold a contest. Everybody is going to exert power and force of will. And if by the end of the weekend, Sunday night, we're at $100,000, which is not actually unprecedented in our trends. We can actually do this. This is not an unrealistic thing. If we hit $100,000 by Sunday night, we are going to add for every backer a remix album based on remixes of the themes. You guys have been seeing us in our updates, us releasing little couple-minute remixes of our main theme. Well, all of those remixes are seeds of like large remixes. We're going to release an entire album of those. It just comes with it doesn't matter your pledge level, you will get that remix album. If we get that $100,000, that's something that we feel confident we can take the effort and time to put in for you guys, putting the effort and time into getting us closer to the goal that we all want to get to, which is A, funding the game, and B, hitting those stretch goals that get us to all of the media. We want Starr Mazer on everything. Another thing we're going to talk about later tonight is our further stretch goals. We want to have a Q&A about stretch goals as well, but we want to fill this middle with story.
And let's just clarify for the contest. Are we talking Sunday midnight? What are we?
Let's say Sunday midnight Pacific time, right? Mm-hmm. Sorry, 11:59 p.m. Pacific time Sunday evening, which gives a bunch of time to people on the East Coast to go have a party.
Yeah, so you get extra time.
Yeah, extra
East
time.
Coasters.
You win because we're just happy to be Pacific time. So by 11:59 p.m. Sunday night, if we have $100,000. Every single backer, historically and forward, gets the the remix soundtrack. This does not actually. This is a unique thing. This doesn't count. So our soundtrack tiers and our soundtrack plans are as follows, without regard to this contest. A soundtrack by Alex Maurer. If you get the soundtrack tier, you get a soundtrack by Alex Maurer plus a soundtrack containing all of the songs submitted by all of our guest artists. At this point, there are 25 of them there, and they're all renowned and incredible artists. So that's 2 soundtracks. We're toying right now, and we'll get this will come out in an update. But a third soundtrack element is we've got a whole bunch of artists who wanted to be on the soundtrack that we couldn't allow. If it weren't for the 25 people there, we would beg these people to be on our soundtrack. But we're just running out of actual space in the game to put music. So we're gonna have those guys do remixes or inspirational tracks on an entirely third soundtrack. So that's 3 soundtracks that come with the soundtrack tier. 3. We're adding now a 4th. You guys like this game because it's got a cool set of music. We're adding a 4th soundtrack album that only comes out, and it's all remixes of the Starr Mazer theme in really cool and interesting ways. It only comes out if we hit $100,000 by Sunday. We're going to later in our update detail a little bit more about this and how it actually functionally works, but everybody gets it, and that's the gag. We're toying with doing something if we break that 100,000, but let's see if we get there. We have add-ons to that goal. So this is a milestone goal, not a stretch goal, because we have to hit our main goal before we get to stretch goals. I think I've talked enough about that. Well, we set up for the story thing. I'm going to go get some stew that was mailed to us. I've never had stew through the mail before, but I'm going to go get it and come back.
Scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying, but I'm going to eat it. It's going to be good. Dude, would you like some?
I would love
Austin
some
would like some. I think it's meaty, and I know that Vanessa's not meaty, so...
No, I will not be partaking in the stew. So, if
That's
any
right.
further consumables are sent to us, I am unfortunately a pescatarian, which means I only eat fish out of all the meaty categories. But that's okay, because I don't mind at all that like everybody else gets to eat awesome stuff, and I don't.
This is something that like I personally like. I don't know about all the characters in Starr Mazer. Like, what are the sort of dietary restrictions of various characters in Starr Mazer? Like not only like our characters, but like races. Are there like races that like can't eat things like pepperoni or something like that? Like,
I don't want to talk about this right now, unless this is a time in which I.
No. I'm just like I'm just thinking about like
Okay.
like what do the Gel eat?
No.
Like, what do Gel eat?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. What do the Gel eat? I mean, part of me wants to say like universes, but that's probably a little ambitious.
Well, they don't because like they don't generate any waste.
Yes.
Right.
Do we have questions? Oh, look at that. There's
We
a question.
do. There we go.
That's a hat with a wizard.
1.18.
Yeah, all right. And also, Elspeth is now hosting us. Thank you
Nice.
so much,
Thank you,
Elspeth.
We love Elspeth.
Welcome
a lot.
all Elspeth fans,
And
which are
she's
us.
Adorable
So,
and
the best.
awesome and so cool. I watched Elspeth for I think 3 hours in total, and you rocked it, girl. You were incredible. She's got a great Twitch channel, so thanks for hosting us. Also, I noticed somebody earlier talked about they saw Bitwise. That is correct. You did see Bitwise. That was a good spot. I actually had to move Bitwise. She was sat here. She was adorable, and she was on some pillows, but then there was no space for me, so we had to move her. So I apologize to all the Bitwise fans out there. You'll see her come and go, but she's not front and center.
Alright, here we have stew. This was mailed to us by Keppa Rocket Cat.
Whoa, look at the meat on that thing.
Which I do believe is Keppa from Rocket Cat Games, which has... Go look up Rocket Cat Games, guys. If you don't already know, you should already know. We're going to be eating them with titanium sporks, because stew requires both pokey and spoony. This episode of Starr Mazer TV brought to you by Stew.
So Vanessa, you have a question.
Oh, I see that. What kind of tea are you drinking? I am a little addicted to jasmine green tea. So I am on my 3rd bag of the day for jasmine green tea.
I don't know how many of you guys have beards, but beards are the napkins you never asked for. Like, nature's suck-up device. It's the worst. Stew is hard with a beard.
It's a built-in bib.
How is
So
it, guys?
this stew is very good.
Does it require salt? Is it like
Are
you feeling? It's very chunky looking.
Yeah, it's like man stew. It's
basically
super
a
legit.
meal.
It is, of course.
I have to flex my biceps just to eat this.
It's incredibly good. I'm loving it.
You guys need to like throw a maiden over your shoulder.
I want some onion salt. I think a little bit of onion salt on the top of this, maybe. But that's the only modification. Next time you mail us stew, Keppa, yeah, onion salt, bro. It's good though. It's really good. I'm gonna have a potato and some tomato and giant chunks of meat. Holy S.
This looks homemade.
Oh yeah. No, I'm assuming this was homemade.
Damn, Keppa.
I don't want to find out that this is actually people.
It could be people though. It is.
They're fair chunks of meat, and they look like they could be taken off a larger
Have
animal.
you seen Keppa's brother in a while?
No.
Elspeth is a lovely lady. Regretfully, she's out of town right now and can't make it to the stream, so I'm taking over her hosts for the next few days. Oh, that's too bad. Well, thank you so much for stepping up and stepping in for her and hosting us. We really appreciate that, and we hope that you'll enjoy our stream today and relay the information back to her. I'm sure she would love to know more.
Blackmaker, you're very welcome. That you're hungry, and you should be hungry because this stew is incredible.
That person's actually from the Netherlands.
Really?
They said, "Greetings from the Netherlands."
They're up really late.
Yes.
Blackmaker is from the Netherlands. That's awesome. Hello from Seattle, Washington, U.S. of A. We're eating stew and it's great.
Do they have stew in the Netherlands? Or
I think stew is
do we
universal.
just look like barbarians
right
now.
No, I think stew is one of those like what do they call it? Simultaneous evolution, right? Like
Everything's
eyes
stewed.
and stew.
And stew.
As in the letter I or the eyeballs?
Blackmaker actually says, yep, they have stew in the Netherlands. Can you describe for us what stew is like in the Netherlands, bruh?
Oh, somebody's going. Oh wait, really good day, but it's late. I'm gonna go to sleep now. Oh, well, thanks for popping in. Sorry,
Good night.
I guess you got our big initial announcement, so that's something for you. But
Spread the word.
If you wake up and you have insomnia, please come back. Check us out again.
Let our sweet, soothing voices lull you to bedtime. That's why they're the rabbits.
The munching. The smell is incredible.
This episode of Starr Mazer TV brought to you by a bunch of guys telling you that they're going to talk about games and instead just eating some
Eating
stew.
stew
front
online.
of
Yeah, why
you.
don't we talk about games or something?
Yeah.
Let's establish like what's the core of the narrative of the game? Like what is the world of Starr Mazer?
I'm going to actually answer a question.
Oh, okay.
Can somebody read the question out loud because I'm eating stew?
Hi there. I was wondering, since Starr Mazer is split into modules, what's the basic, most non-spoilery premise of your favorite module?
Okay, well, so I'm gonna jump in on that one real quick. I think we should all say our favorite, but because you wrote one.
I'm gonna tell you my favorite.
Yeah. We're basically putting the system through its paces. So I don't think any of the modules that we've been playing with right now actually will make it in their current form into the game. Elements of them will definitely make it, but we're trying to make this system make a lot of sense, and it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a year of work and a bunch of money. So, but so far, we have played with some interesting story elements. My favorite at this point is Brick interfacing with a race of. Did I steal your favorite? I did, didn't I?
That's fine.
Shit. I'll pick another one. You should. Okay, but you have to be. Damn it. We can both have the same favorite one. That's not fair.
Well, then pick your second favorite, Dom.
I'm gonna pick my second favorite. Sorry, stew face.
Don't steal mine.
I'm not. No. It's not. That's not even my favorite, bro. My second favorite has to do with actually the Star Legend tier, of that's already been purchased, the $10,000 tier. Brick actually finding a DSP Mark I pilot, off in the Brotha Divide somewhere, maybe.
What is a DSP Mark I?
Okay, a DSP Mark I is an incredible vessel. During the Great War, a last-ditch effort by humanity was made, and the most like cowboy-esque badass pilots got into these vessels called the DSP vessels, and what they were is basically the shittiest vessels, the least space-worthy vessels, because all of the great space-worthy vessels were used in the war already. Kind of like stapled back together and given prototype weaponry that wasn't able to be tested yet. Incredibly powerful prototype weaponry. So what ended up happening was they would go into battle with like a 30% chance of blowing themselves up, but their weapons were incredibly powerful. And it was because of the DSP Mark I pilots that the humanity was able to survive the Great War and actually move on to 100 years of relative peace. But none of the pilots themselves were known to have survived. They all just went off in a big push. Everything exploded, and the enemies that were being fought were all either retreating or dead. And the DSP Mark I pilots were assumed to be just completely obliterated by their own weapons or the weapons of the enemy. But the Star Legend tier gets us into a scenario where Brick actually encounters a DSP Mark I pilot and realizes that though he is like super maverick, ultra badass pilot, he holds not a candle to these guys who basically had a ship that was taped together, and they were, they had just enough oxygen to get them to the target, and everything was kind of falling apart, and every time they fired the weapon, pieces of the ship would fly off. And meeting one of these guys is Brick thinks he's like at the top of the food chain. Then meeting one of these guys completely changes his idea of what it means. And these guys aren't necessarily the best dudes. They're the kind of guys who want to destroy shit and like go cowboy crazy. So his views of history and views of himself as a hero get to be challenged. And if it all works out, he might actually get to fly one of these ships. It'd be pretty neat. So that covers a bunch of the shmup stuff that I like, and a bunch of the what does it mean to be a hero kind of story elements.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That really reminds me of kind of like World War I versus World War II.
Yeah.
The people who initially went into World War I not having good weapons, not having support from their governments, not having things ready, just running with, in some cases, sticks and stones, and doing their best, having guns with no bullets in them, stealing guns off of their enemies just to have something to shoot with, versus World War II, where there was a lot more prep, there was an industry, there was the idea of heroism was already established. So that's a really cool, that's a really interesting section.
This shows actually our history together as a writing team. You actually fall back a lot to the actual like connectable human stuff. Mm-hmm. The story I would most easily relate that story to is the Menagerie from the original series of Star Trek, where Captain Kirk actually interfaces with Captain Pike from the original, which was he was from the pilot. In the pilot, he was this doughy like badass punch everything cowboy. Captain Kirk's a little bit more dramatic, but Chris Pike was like this super like hit it kind of guy. And then Kirk has to actually meet him in the Menagerie, but he's played by a totally different actor because they canceled the show before.
Yeah.
And he's completely like his body's been destroyed, and he's in this like weird pod, but he's got the mind of that like superhero, and like Kirk has to kind of deal with that because Kirk's supposed to be like the badass cowboy, but there's this other one. And so I thought that's where I went. You were like, World War I and II, let's make social statements. I'm like, Star Trek, bro.
I wasn't trying to make social statements, but definitely like, finding sources. That's really neat. So I guess my favorite module, I can't say too much about it because that's going to come later in our last day, our 24-hour awesome
Starr Mazer TV.
Final Starr Mazer TV. Maybe not final, but like the big last day of our Kickstarter.
Our final Kickstarter, Starr Mazer TV.
Mm-hmm. We're going to be discussing in depth this particular module, but I can say a teeny bit, right?
Yeah.
Like super nebulous. It has to do with Brick encountering a race that is not what you would expect a race to be.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a race of a food item.
It's not stew.
It's not stew. And
This
it's
is
not,
so good, by the way.
And it's not dicks, because you don't eat dicks. Sorry, guys.
You
I
can
saw
eat a dick.
something. No.
I told Austin to eat a dick a bunch.
I mean,
every day.
not
Eat
in
a
the,
bag of dicks.
Not in
A
the
whole bag.
Not
Yep.
in the biblical
I actually
sense
would eat a bag of
of
dicks.
eating a dick.
Dicks is like right down the
Super
block.
cheap.
No,
So
I had a
cheap.
Dicks
We had a
for
bag of
lunch.
dicks for lunch. Dicks is actually a hamburger restaurant. Like
This is a Seattle joke.
It's like
Oh.
it's a
No,
famous
no,
Seattle
no.
like institution. Everybody's always eating a bag of dicks.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my god. I didn't even think about that. That's so lame.
So you can
guys.
totally eat dicks.
I had a cheesy dick earlier.
Oh,
Okay,
and you'll
okay.
feel really bad after you do it. You'll hate yourself.
Faziski wants to know if it's horchata. It's absolutely not, but we
It's
are including
not.
horchata in the game specifically because you have supported Kazo and my love of horchata. So,
It crosses over with a food that's extremely dear to my heart. So, and it's slightly inspired by events in the last year. It's impossible to explain. It's gonna be weird. You'll have to like be okay with it being super strange, and they might be cannibalistic, but it's all in good fun. So don't worry. Yes. I can't talk anymore about it. So Austin, what about you?
Mine's like the least nebulous of the story episodes that we have.
you can actually play part of yours.
Yes, yeah, I'm physically working on building on just because I'm really excited about it, and I don't really care if they want me to do something in a certain order. Like I just want to play this. I really latched on to the character Slimo, who at one point there's you see Brick and he says like, "Hey Slimo," right? Like that was just a slur, but like that's actually I've made the call. They have to follow it now. That Slimo's like it's probably not his real name, but that's the name that Brick calls him. And there's a phone ringing. And
Sorry,
sure
I'm
it's
super
very
unprofessional.
important.
I'm super unprofessional.
Done.
I apologize. Phone's off.
That's not the theme music for Slimo. No, he's not a happy dancing guy. So anyway, Brick and Slimo go way back. They've done tons of missions together. Some in which they come out great and it's working good for them, and they both make good profit. Some of which the other guy lies to the other a little bit, and one gets advantage, and they hate each other, and then maybe they're at each other's throats. So in the trailer, you can see that Slimo's a Cyclops character, but that wasn't always the case. And what happens is that Brick needs to go on some mission. He's found that there's a box from an old crashed Mark II, a DSP Mark II jet. And so Brick wants to go in there and see if there's anything about it, because he's been locked up. He's been in cryosleep for over 100 years. There's a lot of his past that he doesn't know about. So he's trying to connect with that. So he's found out there's this box, but he knows how the boxes works because he has one of those. And they require either some sort of advanced identification to open up. The only other way to open up would be to be physically inside the box. Well, Slimo is an amorphous being. He can actually slip into his surfaces. He can break himself into pieces and go through areas. So Brick needs to convince Slimo to come along with this trip to get him the item. So how you do that is going to be largely determined on you. This is sort of where that open middle gameplay comes on, because there's nothing in that box for Slimo. He doesn't care about some 100-year-old time box, some mementos and pictures and whatnot. It's not interesting to him. So Brick's going to need to find some incentive to get Slimo to come along. Maybe that's money. Maybe you've done a favor for Slimo in the past. Or maybe it's that you know where Slimo's other eye is.
Ah.
So what happened in a
Legit.
previous mission, which I'm not sure if we'll have this one be playable, it might just be backstory, but Brick and Slimo were on a mission together, and they were behind some barricades, and people were just firing lasers at them left and right, and there was no way they could get through the enemy cover. So Brick had a bright idea, didn't even ask Slimo, just grabs one of his eyes, rips it out, and throws it, because there's a certain amount of distance before Slimo will lose contact with that eye to be able to lose the perception of it. So he throws it on the other side, and he can see where all the enemies are. Slimo's pissed, but he gets it, so he tells them where everyone is, and boom, they go in through there, and they destroy everyone, they take everyone out. One guy escapes, and that guy... Slimo's eye went dark. So they saw a bunch of mess of blood and gore, and they're pretty sure that guy stepped on Slimo's eye. That was a hard... Brick lost a lot of money because of that. But they didn't die, so they're still alive. Well, while going on this mission, or possibly in other previous missions, you find out that the guy didn't step on Slimo's eye. He took it. And someone has it. So you can either possibly get that eye, or you might, while flying around in space, encounter the bandit who has that eye. And you have to be very careful whether you shoot that ship down or not. And if it just so happens that you encounter him when Slimo's in your ship, Slimo will know, because Slimo starts seeing again.
Yeah, because he's within distance.
Yeah, he's within distance, so he gets
I
that.
love
He
that.
gets that notice. So if you see that ship, if you want to just blast it out of there and you blow it up, then you are the one who destroyed Slimo's eye. So that's going to piss him off, and that's going to screw up the entire operation with getting this box, because you need Slimo to do it. So that's sort of the larger idea of it. Basically, one of the types of missions you might go on with Slimo. And there's lots of different ways to approach it and lots of different outcomes, which is sort of the crux of our whole system. So that's why I'm really interested in it. Plus, I don't know. I think Slime was like the coolest character. I just want to have a bunch of buddy adventures with Slime. Like when I play the game, I ignore the main storyline. I'm just gonna hang out with Slime. Me and him, we're gonna be back to back. We're gonna be buds. It's gonna be great.
So we've got some.
Romance.
Kazuo has some news.
There's like things.
Oh, I got some questions.
Okay, let's answer some questions real quick. His is most fleshed out because he's actually building right now. I'm currently trying to direct the entire game, so I'm sorry that my DSP Mark 1 story isn't the coolest story yet.
Well, we need someone else for that. We need that backer.
That legendary backer, yeah.
So, a while back, RPG Player 88 asked, "Hi guys, what's the ratio of adventure and shooter part in play of the game?"
All right, we answered this in our Guts and Bucks update. We also answered this in our first night. I think it's probably going to be one of those questions we answer every time we talk about it.
We're going to answer it again for you.
It's a fair
RPG
question.
player.
We will answer the question all the time. The ratio is what you make it. The game will be modified. Your playstyle will modify the actual flow of the game based heavily on what you like to do and what you appreciate. You're not forced into the Star Wolf at any point. There are going to be times when you absolutely need to get into the Star Wolf to do a mission or to achieve a goal, but you actually have to go get into it. So you get to choose. You can also choose whether or not being in the Star Wolf is easy or hard or whatever based on which playstyle you're focusing more on. You can get more equipment for your Star Wolf to make it easier to go through the shmup sections. You can bum rides off of people and not have to fight, potentially not have to fight at all.
Unless you pick the wrong ship.
Unless you pick the wrong ship. There's this really cool mechanic we're kind of dealing with right now where you can, we were kind of discussing right now, where you can point and click adventure style dialogue your way through a shmup section where you're giving suggestions and arguing with the first commander of the ship or whatever, trying to like make it so the ship run doesn't blow up. But basically the ratio is it's not going to be one. It's never 100% to 0%. But the ratio is going to be heavily leaned against what your play style is and what you like. Kazuo, go ahead.
Alright, so we have a question from Blackmaker and Brian Lewis, which are pretty much very similar.
Blackmaker, is that Brian Lewis? Brian Lewis?
His name is Brian Lewis.
Is that the Brian Lewis? Because we might be able to expose something to the internet today. It's not? It's a different Brian Lewis?
The question is, what are your favorite games of the shmup / point and click variety? Did the concept of Starr Mazer come from one of these, or did the story of Starr Mazer come first? And the style of gameplay seems like a good way, and the style of gameplay seemed like a good way to realize it.
Okay, so Starr Mazer is a collusion in my mind. The way I approached the creation of it before I got to these guys who are working on it. The story of Starr Mazer exists because the universe that Starr Mazer exists in is a larger universe than the game Starr Mazer. It's a universe I've been working on since I was a kid. I've been building this giant cinematic, thematic, literary universe in which the events that take place in Starr Mazer have taken place. The actual history of Starr Mazer spans about 1 million years. Your experience with Brick and his experience with the world, that's Brick's lifetime plus 130 years where he's frozen in cryosleep. But the universe that Starr Mazer takes place in is huge and very, very historic. So I guess technically that portion of the story lasted since I was like 9, and I've been writing down all these ideas and building these stories and making movies that take place in the universe. And basically every kind of media that I do somehow takes place in this universe, even if I'm doing it for clients, because we do video game commercials for some clients. If you look closely enough, you'll see there's evidence that these live in my universe. So that's kind of a cop-out answer, though, because you want to know specifically when Starr Mazer was born. Starr Mazer, I think, so completely opposite to your original question, or to my original answer to your question, Starr Mazer was born of the idea that I wanted to have an action-y, shootery game that I really, 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 really loved the story of. And it seemed very hard to find that with my two favorite versions of action games and story games. Point-and-click adventures normally have really long and complicated and convoluted stories, but the action seems to be a bit hard to get into or kind of tacked on, like in Full Throttle, which is an incredible game, but the action felt a little tacked on. Or shmup games, which yesterday, we played like 2 versions of that have no story to... What is the story of Gate of Thunder? Some guy named Don does some stuff. We got to blow up a bunch of shit, then aliens. The story of Star Perogia, a toilet fucking a PC engine shooting stuff in space.
So there's like that narrative bit in the beginning. It's all in Japanese, so you probably don't.
Yeah, but it's basically like some shit comes and they're
like alert, gotta go,
you gotta
and
go
shoot
kill some
things,
stuff.
and now you're fighting crabs.
Yeah, you got crabs, you're going off crab heads. And hamsters and jelly beans.
Beautiful hamsters.
Yeah, so it's really the collusion of two of my favorite genres, but only the best parts of those to make an entirely new genre. So that's my direct answer. Do you guys want to field this as well, or is that enough?
Yeah, no, I think that like I have a very similar idea to you. It's as you guys have already mentioned, it's the intricate weaving of two different gameplay styles, and in that there's just huge crossover elements, and you're not just playing a shmup, you're playing the same character. You've got all the same history, all the same conversations, all the same decisions that you've made with Brick moving forward into the shmup section. So you're not just suddenly a ship, you're still Brick. You still have missions, and you still have goals and
relationships.
And those don't change just because you now have missile attack. So it's just it's very intricately weaved, and vice versa. So if you, as I told people at PAX, if you shoot down if you shoot down a passenger vessel that just happens to go past you in the shmup, and you get back to Exeter Station and you get approached by some people who are like, you just murdered my family, they were just going to Disneyland or whatever, Spaceland, Disney Planet. Like, there's consequences to what you're doing, so it's just a little bit more thoughtful than that.
Can I break in for just 1 second?
Sure.
We have the triumvirate now. There have been 3 people, at least, but these 3 people are consistent, who've watched every episode of Starr Mazer TV and stayed on for hours at a time. We've got Fuzzy Ski, we've got Night Margin, and we've got Laser Kid.
Laser
Kid who's going to be featured in the game. Welcome, you 3. Thanks for coming back, and thanks for everybody else whose names we've missed so far.
Some sleep, unlike us.
Kazuo will ask us questions that you're asking us. We're basically just looking at a camera right now and a little monitor that's kind of hard to read. So
we do have one question from Modern Nosferatu. Given that Starr Mazer is widely successful, is there a chance of seeing future games of different genre or other sorts of media taking place in the universe, but at different points of the timeline?
Okay, so different games of the genre or other sorts of media taking place. That's already happening.
Yeah.
We have a feature film coming out in 2016 that takes place in this universe, though a disparate sort of different portion of this universe. Go see the movie Motivational Growth.
Yeah.
That takes place literally in this universe. A character from that movie is in the game. The main character from that movie travels into Starr Mazer at one point. Starr Mazer is featured in the film.
And also within Motivational Growth, you have
Declination Jane.
Yeah,
she's in it.
She's in it. So Declination Jane, which is an alternative TV channel that he or a show that he's watching alongside the Starr Mazer universe.
There's a show called Officer Zygor Alien Cop, mm-hmm. the antagonist of which both Officer Zygor and Declination Jane exist within the Starr Mazer universe in the game. You'll find them in the game. So that's definitely happening. But yeah, no, if Starr Mazer is super successful and we're able to make more of the games we want to, hell yes, this universe is going to be explored more widely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a little secret pro tip there. We haven't talked anything about Declination Jane really in the whole Kickstarter or everything, but if you want to find out what this character is all about, you can just watch Motivational Growth.
Yeah.
Which is out right now.
Yeah.
It is out, and you can
get it at GOG.com. You can pre-order the hard copies from Amazon. If you're in Canada, you can get it right now. Oh, and somebody just posted in the comments.
Thank you, Movie Geek.
Movie Geek is our producer, Josh Gelb.
Thank you, Movie Geek.
You're welcome.
You're not supposed to tell people.
Oh, I don't know who Movie Geek is.
The film, it is not animated. It is a live action film.
Yeah.
There are animated sequences in it, which you will get to check out.
Yeah.
But it's cool because if you're really excited and you want to see a little bit more of Starr Mazer and you're feeling a little impatient, please check out Motivational Growth, because the main character in Motivational Growth may or may not end up in Starr Mazer for a section of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's just section of the game. So please check it out if you want to see a little bit more of that world explored. There's just more beautiful art.
It's a weird little movie.
Story.
It's not Starr Mazer, the movie. The movie is its own movie.
Yeah,
and it's also very, very weird. But there are some cool stuff in there. There is some cool stuff in there that kind of shows off the cinematic universe in which all this stuff takes place. So do we have other? I know we had other questions. We kind of skipped over them. Is that actually Brian Lewis?
Yes. Is this Brian Lewis of Imagos?
Yeah. Is this the Imagos friend Brian Lewis? Is this
Brian Lewis? I know a Brian Lewis from Indie Flicks. So
yeah, I don't know.
I would love to know.
If this is the Brian Lewis that we think it is, I do want to talk about it.
So, there are no other questions except that Bold Big Flank said, ahem, maybe he or she was also here for the other couple of broadcasts.
Oh! Who is this? Bold Big Fling?
Yeah.
I know Bold Big Flank. He's a buddy of mine.
Bold Big Flank. I'm sorry, Bold Big Flank. You haven't said anything. So welcome back, and you are now the
a devoted fan.
Has become
doesn't speak.
Quadrilliant, or it's some word that means something.
And Frankie from Florida just pledged.
Thank you very much, Frankie from Florida, for pledging.
Oh,
That's amazing.
Getting that Florida support.
So cool.
So Brian Lewis says yes, it's that Brian Lewis.
That wasn't helpful. We mentioned 2 Brian Lewises. Could you say if you're Imagos?
Yeah,
Brian
which one?
Lewis?
Yeah. So Fuzziski says, was Jeffrey Combs animated or a puppet? Jeffrey Combs was
a human being.
Is a human being. No, but in the movie Motivational Growth, Jeffrey Combs was an animatronic puppet. So a robot, a cable-controlled robot that was made to look like a creature. So watch the movie; it's cool. Yeah. Flagmaker says, "I'm just happy to have a unique name. It is a very cool name, and also it's a Der Niederlander name, right? Because that could actually be your name. It's probably just your nick, but I don't know. What do you even speak in the Netherlands? We should know this, like world geometry.
Norwegian, right?
No, that's Norway.
Shit, I'm so bad.
Why do you say that?
I'm the worst.
African.
Yeah.
That's not even a language.
Yeah.
Afrikaans is a joke.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Dick? I don't know.
Dutch.
Oh, good.
Dutch.
It's our Brian
That's what it was.
Right.
Okay, so Brian Lewis says, it's Brian Lewis who has worked with us in several Imagos projects, and then he has a theater mask smiley face.
It's a robot, right? It's a robot. It's the default for the conversation.
Dutch. You son of a bitch!
Yep, I'm just the worst. I'll just buy it.
Um,
Let's go.
That was a Predator reference. So you had a face when I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, like
you had a face too.
You're all about announcing things.
I shouldn't be, right? I keep doing it.
Let's keep that.
You
that
Americans.
Yeah, the Browns. Let's keep that a little secret, right?
Yeah.
The thing is,
Monday.
we have
how many people are on the stream right now?
34 are watching.
Oh
Monday.
shit!
And they're very diligent at posting on Twitter.
So, on Monday, you will get to hear all about Brian Lewis. There will be a lot of information about Brian Lewis. If you want to know what that means, maybe you just Google search Brian Lewis. You might be able to find out some things. But we're not saying anything about Brian Lewis.
I want to say things.
Brian Lewis, do you know that you might be here on Monday?
Brian Lewis, you're here.
We are currently talking.
Oh.
Brian Lewis, will you be here for our cast Q&A on Monday?
You just can't help yourself, can you?
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
eating a pomelo and it's amazing.
You haven't slept.
So, next topic. Any more questions?
Yeah, we need to answer more questions. I want to get more story stuff, but we don't want to drive it. Because every time we start to drive it, you guys ask 55 questions and then we lose your question.
Well, that's good. So we'll drive it and we'll ask what we're going to. There's a thing I wanted to talk about, really, because you guys were both giving answers about sort of like inspirations of it and whatnot of working on Starr Mazer. And one of the things that I'm really interested in about this project, not just just steal my thunder, Don. Just take it. It's all about your pomelos.
Robot Loves Kitty just popped on and said pomelo. I introduced Calvin from Robot Loves Kitty to pomelos for the first time. He'd never had one. He had one. Said they taste like candy and they're his favorite thing. They're my favorite thing. We're nerd buddies. We nerd out on all Optimus Prime buddies, robot buddies, Lego buddies, 3D printing buddies. We make games together. I can pomelo buddy with the guy. It's fine.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Would you want my part? Yes.
Anyway, they can do pomelo stuff. So one of the things that really intrigues me about Starr Mazer is that like whenever I build a game, there has to be like some like reason or purpose or like meaning to it, because games like they take a significant chunk of your time, right? If I can make a game a year, I'm gonna make like 60 more games, and that's not a lot of games, not my perspective. So I wanna make sure that every game counts. So when I'm making something, I have to have a reason to it. The thing is though, I love making like action games. Like I love making games that feel good, that like have these tight controls. A lot of action games, like a lot of the shmups that I grew up playing, like a lot of shmups that we've played, don't have that sort of like sense of meaning there. It's just really fun for a short period of time. And I'm not trashing on that is valuable, that is awesome. People make that, and I'm glad people make that. But in the stuff that I make, I want like there needs to be like some other hook for it for me to like really get into it. So the fact that it's combining this amazing action experiences with this deeper narrative about the story of a hero, which is something that I'm personally like very invested in. Like whenever we talk about this, I'm always reminded of Dark Knight Rises, which is like one of my favorite hero stories. Especially because of that ending, right? So I get really excited about this concept. So the fact that Starr Mazer is going to combine a lot of really interesting meaning, a lot of like modern social commentary, all these aspects with amazing action and like interesting puzzles and like developed characters, like that is why yes, I am totally on board with this project.
Yeah, I mean it's a new gaming experience. I mean I couldn't agree more. I like point and click adventures, but my experience has often been that I wouldn't finish many of them because I'd get to a point where I ran out of time or energy or effort, or I got a little bit bored in a section, or I just completed an area and I didn't have the commitment to carry on. I love that in our game we're combining this stuff. It's really a whole new experience, and it's been very difficult to explain it to people because they really want to lump it into one thing or another. It's got elements of those fantastic games that we grew up with, but they are definitely a new thing, and that story I think is what's carrying it through and connecting those things in a really beautiful way.
Yeah, a question. Before we answer the question, I'd like to point out that there's a character in our chat room by the name of Christina Neo.
Hello.
If you guys like the art style of Starr Mazer, Christina Neo is Christina Antoinette Neo Futistu, our lead artist. She is responsible for all of that. So stop paying attention to us for a couple minutes and thank her for being the most incredible artist that I have ever worked with. And I'm not sure about these guys, but for me that's definitely the case.
And just a total workforce. I mean, she puts in like regularly 30-hour days.
She's a super badass.
She's incredible.
She is more productive than teams I've worked with.
Yeah.
That is not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
She's incredible. So say hello, thank her, and think about putting more money into the Kickstarter so that we can pay her the money she deserves. Also, just a reminder, we're running a contest starting tonight. If we make $100,000 by, if we get to $100,000 by Sunday night Pacific time, everyone who pledges gets a special 4th version of the soundtrack. It's a remix album. So that's another announcement, or another iteration of that announcement, which I will probably announce a bunch of times because people are coming and going. So go for it.
So Eclipsed Husky, who's been with us from the beginning,
Yeah.
says, what all is in module? Also, will there be gambling or minigame sort of things like 21, poker, slots, and stuff, ways to risk your bucks, maybe risk it all and get guts even?
I like that idea. I know that the one thing that I've already got on our list that Austin and I have discussed are arcade games, where you put money in and play little arcade games. That's definitely something, but we haven't got to the point where we're working on sub-games outside of the greater game experience yet. Normally that comes between half and 2/3 of the way through the development cycle when you realize you've got some spaces or you're not feeling enough risk or reward for things. We can start having we've made all the base assets, we understand how the systems work, we got a thing working pretty well, and we want to polish it. So normally those kind of things, we'll definitely re-record all of these. You'll see on YouTube us posting these. We're gonna review all of these things when we get funded, and make sure that we make decisions based on the discussions we've all had. So that's definitely something we'll keep in mind.
I will point out something about that, though, especially with Eclipse Husky being one of our backers who gets to write some narrative aspect of the game. Right. The concept of doing a fully fledged like blackjack game in it, now that's like a lot of work. That's a lot of technical implementation, all the artwork required, but having a scene where characters are communicating and playing a game of blackjack, that is completely within the realms of our system as it exists now.
Totally.
Yeah.
So if you're a gambling type of character there, Husky, you can probably write that into your scenario. We'll work out the details in the future.
Yeah. Yes, Kazuha.
Brian Lewis asks, what's with the bunny ears on Bunny Bitshift? Does her race evolve from rabbits? Or did her race evolve from rabbits?
I think it's pretty rude for you to refer to those as bunny ears. She just has ears, man. She has. That's a weird designation to just call them bunny ears.
Bunny?
I mean, she's from a different planet. You just make some kind of weird that's weird. I don't know, man. Her race did not evolve from bunnies. They evolved from whatever natural thing on their planet. Her name just happens to be a sound that you associate to a thing that like fits her ears. I don't even know. Her whole race has those ears, and all of them are named Bunny. Midshift is her actual given name. Everybody else in her race is named Bunny. So
why don't you talk about
Bunny?
Or
the race.
Talk about Bunny's race, because like we want to talk about Bunny a little bit later, but the race, like let's...
Bunny's race is actually really incredible. They are one of the longest space. They have been a spacefaring intelligence for nearly longer than almost any other race that we know about in the game. They are incredibly social and incredibly competent in managerial and social tasks. A lot of them are diplomats, and they. I don't want to. There's. Bunny plays a very large role in our game, and any kind of implication I make toward her race that Brick has to kind of figure out might imply arc of story, but
okay.
They're really good at being social. Very good. They're really good at working together. They're really good at coordinating. They're really good at, how do I say this appropriately? They're really good at, I'm trying to work around like
the reveals.
They're really good at communicating in a manner that endears those around them to want to please and gain acceptance from them. If that doesn't give anything away. They're really cool. But
there's things about the race you can tell that don't reveal anything, right?
Well, they're really intelligent. They're really fast. Their race is actually internally so far called the Bun Bun. That's actually a reference to the composer from Mega Man 2. But yeah, no, their race is called the Bun Bun. Their first names are all Bunny.
We have a clip.
We've just broken $92,000, everyone.
So awesome.
Good job, guys.
So much.
Thank
Good
you.
job. I don't know if anybody in the chat room's helping. I'm sure you are. But that's really great. That means only 8K left. And if we hit our averages for days, we would only be like $1,000 or $2,000 below.
So we can hit that.
So we can definitely hit that $100,000 by the end of this weekend. I can tell you that the next one,
soundtrack.
Yeah.
An additional soundtrack.
An additional soundtrack.
Yeah.
Also, if we get to above that, we'll announce more tonight in our update once we work out the numbers. We have a couple of physical concerns we want to work out, but you might get more stuff if we get a little bit higher than that. So yeah, that's the Bunny people. Brian, I'm sorry to ride you a little bit earlier. I was just kidding around. That was not racist of you. But those are her real ears. She's not wearing them for like some kind of weird tracty thing.
And I would say that goes across many of the races. It's not that, oh, you're a such and such kind of person. It's just we've gotten to a point in the future in this particular universe and story structure where these are just people. These are just people of their particular race doing their particular thing.
Yeah. And
it's not unusual. Although to Brick, he sees it like we might see it a little bit closer. He's going to be like, what's up with the bunny chick?
Yeah, yeah.
So
he's going to be more like Brian Lewis was. Brick is going to be very much like Brian Lewis in that he would ask a question like that.
So, but then we've got other races where it's like, hey, Slimo, you're a giant piece of slime, and Slimo's race is not just giant pieces of slime, and they've been accepted and a part of the known universe for a very long time, that is not an appropriate thing to say.
Right, and so. I think an interesting note is we're trying to avoid, Vanessa and I briefly discussed this, but when we get to actual development beyond concepting, we're going to talk about this a little bit further, is the idea that I like Star Trek a lot. Star Trek got a lot of stuff really right, but it got a lot of stuff really wrong. Like, for instance, a planet of Klingons, they're all the same. Rarely do you find, like, the subculture of Klingons or whatever. Sorry, Blackmaker just said he just pledged.
Awesome!
Thank you very much, Black. That's amazing.
So cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So we want to avoid the thing where like a race of people determines the people.
Right.
we're in America right now. We're in the United States of America. We have 50 states, 48 contiguous United States. Every state is different, vastly different in culture. Every portion, in some states, different portions of those states, depending on the size, are vastly different in culture. It seems weird to me that we just assume, like, oh yeah, Klingons are just Klingons. This is how Klingons are.
As a whole planet.
As a whole planet, or
That's
as a whole
crazy.
race. When I say something like the Bun Bun are very social, that's like saying human beings use vocalizations to communicate. Like, yeah, it's a built-in thing, but that's not an entire. Not all of the Bun Bun are super social. Yes.
So there's a question that was for everybody, including Christina. Could you talk at all about the visual design and aesthetics of this game? Looks fantastically nostalgic and fresh at the same time.
It is beautiful. I won't be able to speak about this as much as everyone else on the team.
You are the lead writer.
But yeah.
It says so, right?
It says so, right under here, this area. But I have to say, just from like an outsider's perspective, from that form of art, it's beautiful. It's stunning. I can't wait to play it, and I love what Christina has done for us. I love what Jeremy and Don initiated, and it's I just can't wait. I just can't wait.
So what is the actual question beyond, like, or just talk about the art style? My vision of the art style, as said in a previous Starr Mazer TV, is kind of the westernized version of anime, where I'm 35, so I have maybe a different experience than anybody like a little younger than me. I watch shows like Thundercats and Silverhawks and Mask and Cops, and they had this style that was obviously Asian influenced, like written and drawn by Japanese people, but commissioned by Western companies that had to look kind of more Western, like more United States or Western Europe. All the main characters were like buff white dudes with a token other race dude, which was in the 80s as sensitive as they were getting. Which
they're like, we acknowledge.
Yeah, which luckily the world's changed a fair amount since then, and we'll of course address things like that in Starr Mazer. But that's a very nostalgic and happy place for me. That kind of more dynamic than I'm sorry, this is not universally crappy. It's just my opinion. More dynamic than like a Hanna-Barbera or like a Looney Tunes or something. More anime styled, but not too anime as to be frightening to audiences who've never seen anime before. I really liked that melding. I think it caused challenges, much as pixel art causes artistic challenges that make art different, that permutate. That's not the word I'm looking for. That cause mutation in art. The Western, like the consideration of that Western visualization via anime caused some really cool, unique stylings that I really like. So a lot of anime influence visually, but a lot of like Westernization of that anime as well. Austin has a different view, which is really cool, and I'm sure Christina will say some stuff too.
Oh yeah, Christina's been.
Yeah, I mean, basically, being a little bit younger, like, I have the results of those as my inspirations. Like, when I look at Starr Mazer, I see Cowboy Bebop, I see Outlaw Star. Those sort of, like, late 80s, early 90s animes, with just, like very, very simple, like, keyframe animations, like, very dark colors, just, like, really, like, intense exaggerations. And it's very interesting, actually, because I'm sure Christina has conveyed a lot of this to us in that the game's resolution is very small, and so it seems the result of that is a lot of the animations are exaggerated. One of the ways you can see that easiest is through the talking animations. The characters, when they speak, they're not really moving their mouths down, they move their heads up. And it's like, that's like one of the ways you have to get animation through such limited style. And if Christina has probably way more details on this because she's physically doing it, I'm just sort of seeing the results of it. But it's interesting that the limitations of the art style are actually causing exaggeration which I don't know the exact reason why anime had such exaggeration. Maybe it was through limitations of making like animation in such a short time and such a short budget. But that they're very much walking the same line, which excites me because like I grew up on that stuff, so I love it. All right, so more story stuff.
Yeah.
No, do you have any questions at the moment?
Yeah, I think we may have spun past a couple of questions. I saw Christina answering a bunch of questions. Really, guys, she's the one to ask about technical things. She's teaching us a lot, actually, as we go. She is by far... okay, so there are people who do art, like, for art's sake, and then there are people who do art for, like, a trade, right? And the trade craft in doing art is often different than, like, the talent that's required. Somebody can be really talented but not necessarily know the trade really well, and I think, like, success and, like, lasting impression comes from... utilizing that talent through like trade skill, and Christina is by far one of the most trade skill positive people that I've ever met. She's incredibly good at her trade, and on top of that, she's a stunningly awesome artist.
So they said the last thing that you were talking about was Cowboy Bebop and dark colors.
Stand by. Itanzana. Sorry, the text is really tiny for me. Here, just backed. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tanzania.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna make it, guys. Come on, we want to get you that soundtrack.
So just to sort of end up the conversation that got cut off because of the stream ending, was just that, you know, so animes, like, because of the time, there was very dark colors and there was very exaggerated animations, and we see that because of the limitations of the small resolution of the pixel art, there seems to be a lot of exaggeration in the Starr Mazer art style, and that's something that I noticed a lot in anime. So it just, when I see every movement of a pixel in Starr Mazer, even though it's like tiny little bits, it feels like the 90s anime that I grew up watching.
So we got legit questions coming in.
Eclipse Husky writes, how will modules connect from arc to arc, chapter to chapter? Will it always be set system like a PNC section, then shmup section, or will the arcs mix them up?
The arcs mix up the... It's not just the arcs. The OMG system mixes up those story modules, and your choice is actually what mixes them up the most. The order in which you achieve goals changes. Like, you again, the system doesn't just say, okay, now you're in the Star Wolf, go be Star Wolf. You get to choose when you... Some guy can go, you got 1 day, Brick, to go get my whatever space ore from the pirates who done stole it. And you could choose to spend that day instead trying to get Bunny Bitshift to go to your holosuite with you or whatever. And then you would lose out. Or you could instead piss off a bunch of other pirates and then go on that mission and get sidelined to a totally other mission that ends up on a planet. And I mean, it's like we originally talked about when we were discussing the modularization of the story. It's a bunch of stacked little miniature story elements that all respond to the environment that they're placed in. So you changing that environment changes the flow of story and narrative, and then in that in turn changes the gameplay.
I'm seeing a kind of a follow-up question from Photo Cool. Does that mean that the game will be the same if you always make the same choices?
No.
And also, I can't imagine how you would be able to remember what choices you made to that extent.
Yeah.
We're going to have so many, like, conversational options that'll lead you in different directions. I think it would be pretty tough to, like, identically replicate those decisions.
Yeah, also, if you take into account our actual design doc, we have a little subsection at the bottom that take into account non-player input variables. Time of day. We had a MAC address was actually one of the things that we were scanning as a randomization seed for some elements. Like just character moods, right? Like the dancer that you're talking to might be kind of pissy that day and might not be pissy the next day because that random seed caused a different result the next time you play through it. We do have non-player controlled variable modulation, which will keep that story flowing.
Also, I think the biggest most obvious factor for me is that the state of the world also reflects how you fly the Star Wolf, where you're going with the Star Wolf. As you play the game over multiple sessions, you're going to get better at flying the Star Wolf. So it will be difficult to play as bad as you played in your previous session. You'll be dodging more bullets, getting more shots, playing more efficiently, and that will change people's perspective of you. So those are going to, like, there's all these factors that would make it difficult to sort of replicate another playthrough, because that's our goal. We don't want, like, we want you to just be able to keep playing it every time.
So, Photocool says, can't work if they randomly display choices every time. We don't randomly. It's not random. Nothing about it is actually random. I said random seed, and I apologize. That was used for things that are explicitly random, which aren't story elements any more than the color of somebody's outfit's a story element. It's just a, like I said, mood might cause somebody to take the angry path in their dialogue tree rather than the happy path. And the happy path and angry path might take into account environmental variables differently, but it's not randomized at all. None of the actual interactive elements are random. They're procedurally executed. They're procedurally chunked. They're procedurally loved, is what I keep telling everybody.
And Christina's trying to give them hacks to do it the way they want to do it. Christina.
Yeah, you can't give them the hack source before the game's out. You have insider baseball information. That's not fair.
No, she's just giving them strategies, like
save before talking
to anybody,
and
then get them in the right mood, and then go back to the way.
Well, I'd like to point out, Christina, who's too busy working on art to know all of our systems. Your save games are part of the thing we take into account when we generate the system. So that's not going to work. Nope. Yes, we have another question.
Fuzzy writes, is the game going to be free to explore, kind of like Monkey's Island, where you can just roam around aimlessly, or kind of a rail of sorts?
We're trying to avoid rails at all costs, in both the shooter and the PNC section. We want Brick. We want you to experience the world that Brick is in. We don't want you to be shown a cinema that lets you take A/B choices every once in a while.
Yeah.
We hate that idea.
Yeah.
That's another thing, because, like, sometimes when people look at a game that's coming out these days, especially a game that's using a pixel art aesthetic, they'll be like why does it require so much involvement to build a game like this? Like, this could have come out 20 years ago.
Right.
And, like, this is another example of why Starr Mazer couldn't have come out 20 years ago. All the things that we're taking into consideration, making an open world game of this scale. Like, this is just our choice for the visual style. It's not the choice for the scale or scope of the game. Starr Mazer could have the exact same systems, exact same interactions, very similar gameplay, and be a fully immersive AAA, like, 3D game, but that's not what we want to build. We're building this aesthetic, but the systems are still at that scale. On
that same note, I've actually talked to Galaxy guys, for instance. That game, that's not a pixel game at all. Yeah. It's a beautifully rendered 3D, gorgeous game. Go to 17-bit and check out Galaxy. It is incredible. But they have a very similar, not the same in any way, but similar concept behind the way they stitch together their travel mechanic. Their mission mechanic is procedurally chunked in very much the same thought process that ours is, which is pretty neat. But that's a giant title, and if you look at that title, you think, oh yes, of course, this is a big game. But you don't. That's because it looks like a big game. Our game looks like a game that you want to remember games being. So even back in the day, those PNCs were pretty big, like 40 hours of experience. But they're not as complex in mechanics as ours is. Because we can do that now when they couldn't back then. But if we were to skin our game differently, if we were going to skin it with Assassin's Creed level graphics, you would believe that the systems we're talking about are wholly AAA style mechanics.
Actually, just last night I was talking with one of the developers of Shadow of Mordor, because they're a Seattle company, and so I wanted to know. I was grinding him on some of the details of the Nemesis system, which is something that I was very interested for a long time. I had some ideas about how to execute, and yeah, when I asked him, and then I explained how Starr Mazer worked, he's like, yeah, you guys are pretty much doing the same thing we did, which
that's
is just
a huge game, giant game.
Because that's the thing, though. Like, you can make you can try to solve this really complicated, like, algorithm, like AI doing like machine learning and all this stuff. But that's, like, people have been trying to do that for decades. There's not a great solution for that. There is a solution for making simple systems and building content that supports it. And that's how the Nemesis system works. And it's good to hear because of the response to that game, and people feel so immersed in that system, and that your original concepts for the idea are on the same line.
So on that note, I'd like to point out that we're not building the story top down. We're building bottom up. We're building the Lego bricks and the Lego pieces. I don't want to say Lego bricks, but we're building the Lego. We're building the Lego blocks to a high degree, and they snap together very specific ways. But you can build all kinds of neat stuff out of them. We have to design those at a granular level, and then you just dump them on the floor and let the kid play with them. And you're the kid in this instance. You see what I'm saying? They all have different shapes. They all have different sizes. They all work together. They're made to slot together and all work together. But you build out of them what you want in story. We have a question.
Robot Loves Kitty asks, when you switch to a shmup section, are you traveling to other locations that you select?
Yes.
Yes, you put navigational instructions into the Star Wolf, but I'd like to point out that you don't switch to a section. You hop into the Star Wolf and fly it out of the space station or off of the planet or whatever, and then you go through your action mechanic and then you land the thing. I'm going to say this again, because I know Calvin's on the board and I want to say it out loud. I have a really great way to explain it. We've been getting a lot of questions as to how are we going to take two disparate mechanics and staple them together, and I like to bring this up. Calvin, listen up. Unless it's Alex, in which case, also listen up. Imagine if I wanted to staple the original Super Mario Brothers and Flappy Bird together. That sounds shitty. That sounds nigh impossible. They're two drastically different gameplay mechanics. Yes, they shared the same, pipes, but that's just because one stole pipes from the other. But the actual game mechanics are totally different and probably not integratable. Except, unless you go to World 3-1 in Super Mario Brothers, in which case you jump into the water and you're Flappy Birding. It's a totally different game mechanic. The swimming mechanic in Super Mario is Flappy Bird. And you don't have to experience some kind of crazy transition in that regard. You don't have to worry about how we're going to fit these two disparate mechanics together. They're just part of the same game. You just jump in the water, bro. Same thing with jumping into your ship. You jump into your ship, fly the ship.
And I would also like to add that the ship doesn't exist as a shmup just to get from like one place to another location. It can also be mission based. So like it's not just for location movement. Am I correct in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it is used as a travel mechanic, but also as a mission mechanic.
And additionally, you'll have, okay, this is the course I want to go on, so you'll start going this one area, but that it's not just like there's point A and point B and that's it. Like there is some exploration within flying around space, and you can take some secret paths, go into some hidden alcoves, and actually find other routes, other shortcuts. In which case, then you can start picking those as well as you discover them throughout the game.
We have a question.
So Eclipse Husky has two questions. One, are you going to give the kid shoes so they don't hurt themselves stepping on the Legos?
We should. That's the most painful.
Yeah. Absolutely. That is part of my...
Absolutely not.
Thick
no.
socks.
You're going to step on the damn Legos. It's going to hurt, and you're going to learn not to step there without looking for the Legos. You're not going to disrespect your Legos enough to step on them. You're going to know where every single Lego is and pay very close attention to it. You're going to have a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, little tiny photos you take of each Lego, and you'll know at all times where the Legos are. You're going to put little RFID chips inside of each Lego, track them all. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Database of Legos.
Database of Legos.
So Eclipse Husky also writes, will there be water sections for the Star Wolf and for Brick to explore?
Oh.
Yes!
Water
sections. Water sections at least, for the very, 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 very least on my docket already is the concept of the Star Wolf going underwater. I want that. I want it hard, but I don't want it to be just like every other shmup where it just goes and it's just the same thing. I want the mechanic to change a little. I want the graphic blitzing to change. I want there to be you're underwater.
It's just slow, but it should be like bigger.
I want you can't use some weapons. You can't use like charged plasma weapons underwater. That's shitty. Like I want to go underwater with that ship. Yes. That's happening. As far as getting Brick underwater on his own, we haven't discussed that yet. But the shmup seconds, the Star Wolf is going underwater. The game is called Aqua Mazer now. It's just all underwater. Space is just liquid.
I didn't sign up for that.
Do we have other questions? Were you holding your... No?
Are there mermaids?
We can go on and talk about more about the narrative.
We could. Are you sure we didn't skip anything? Because I swear we missed questions.
All right, well,
I watched him kind of flip.
Kazuo can look at some questions and search back in there.
No, I've been reading the whole chat.
He's on it.
Okay, then
So
let's take one quick. I notice people are coming in and out, so I'm gonna pimp our who we are again. It says underneath us, so I don't have to do that anymore. We didn't have that before, so I was saying it a bunch. But I'm Don Thacker. This is Vanessa Williams. That's Auston Montville. Kazuo's over there. Josh Gelb's over there. They are off screen doing cool stuff. But we are having a contest between now and Sunday night Pacific time, so Sunday 11:59 Pacific time, wherein if we can get our campaign to $100,000, which shouldn't be hard statistically if you follow our averages, everyone who pledges will get an additional mixtape, mix album based on the Starr Mazer theme. If we get farther than that, which I really hope we can, because I really want to get to those stretch goals, we have some other cool announcements to go along with that. Yes, we do have a question.
Eclipse Husky has another question. Okay, now to top that off, being within water, will the music change as well? Since you are saying water would change how the ship would works with things like how Mega Man X2 did some weapons underwater, like be like what you have in mind, where a bubble shot would actually float up, fire would not work at all, etc.
I definitely that is on my docket. So when I say it's on my docket, I'm the director and designer of the game. I have all kinds of dreams for this game. Whether or not they fit into our scope will come during the actual development process. I've got every kind of dream. So you're going to hear me say, yeah, you do everything. You're going to fly to the moon, and the game is going to bury your children. It'll be the best. But
and you'll see me silent, thinking about all the work that it will take to actually make that.
I will definitely try to make everything. We have a core promise that we've made, and Starr Mazer will definitely be that. All this cool sort of ideation that we're coming up with you guys, I will try to include as much as I can. But I do have an actual, we do have an actual throughput of development cycle that we have to follow and be able to get to. Getting the Star Wars underwater with effects for underwater, the scope of which we have yet to determine, is something that I definitely want to do. That's been on the docket since I was a kid playing Gate of Thunder and watching nothing change but a line on the screen going. I always wanted to feel the underwater.
It would need to be a bigger module.
See, that's the thing I want to talk about a little bit about, just like game development and scope. And anyone who's worked on a game totally understands this concept before, because like you might be like, oh, like, well, it should be easy, just have water levels and like just throw them in, and you just throw water in is the splash effect, and that's it. Yeah. But like when you actually want to like fully implement something to like a greater design, or like you have a goal, and like a lot of the stuff, the details that Don talking about, that's a much larger investment. And especially with Starr Mazer, we don't want to do anything half-assed.
Yeah, there have to be like a water people and a water mission and a water.
Yeah, the writer wants to. If you're going underwater, there's got to be a giant story.
Sorry, man. You can't just throw something like that at me and I don't get to do something with it. Hell no. Right. Yeah, there's mermaids then. Sorry, mer people.
Merfolk.
Merfolk.
Yeah.
Mer ladies, mer gentlemen.
Are we gonna change the lighting profile in this room?
Yeah, I was going to turn your light on back there.
That one kind of sucks. Go with those.
We're going to turn with a different light on.
Go hit the first and last one.
The sun is setting because time is passing.
Yes, it is now, we're in Pacific Standard Time, so the sun just went behind a bunch of really dark, scary, gray-looking clouds, and
I like that one.
It's going to be sunsetty.
It's like purple and red. Oh, it just looks 80s. I love it. This is the best. I'm seeing the updates on our view camera over there.
Whoa. That's exciting.
I love how vibrant it is.
Is that actually going to our feed?
Yeah, can people see that?
Are they seeing all the color temperature changes and stuff?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. Welcome to Behind the Lens with Kazuo Maeda.
The curtain has been revealed. Whoota. The wizard.
I want to read this. This sounds interesting. One of the reasons I'm so excited for Starr Mazer, this is modern Nosferatu. One of the reasons I'm so excited for Starr Mazer is the story, particularly the idea that Brick really evolves throughout the story and grows as a character. Can you talk a little bit about where he is when you open the game, mentally and emotionally, and how he interacts with the universe around him? Can I tell the opening sequence thing?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, when Starr Mazer opens up, you're seeing drifting out through space, and you see the cryo sleep chamber like stuck in the Star Wolf, and the alarm goes off. Finally, it's been 100 years, and it's beeping, and it's wondering, like, there's a whole open sequence, and it wakes up, and Brick gets up, and like wipes his face a little bit, looks at how much time has passed. He hits a snooze button. He goes back to sleep. And then later, ingot miners find him,
Yeah.
and that whole storyline bit. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, a little more detail.
Yeah. So that shows Brick's sort of character. He wasn't done sleeping. He'd done a bunch for the war, so it's gonna take him. His snooze is fine.
Yeah, 10 more years.
10 more years is fine. But I think he's kind of screwed up, and it ends up being 30 years.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Brick, when the game starts, Brick is I don't want to say a cardboard cutout hero, but he is a product of his time. I said on a podcast yesterday, he's just come back from a great war. He's a hero. He did nothing wrong. He could do no wrong. His side was right, and his people were the dominant folk of that particular conflict, and he saved a bunch of people. He is, by all accounts, a hero. When he comes out of Sleeplock 130 years later, most of humanity is either missing or destroyed. Humanity is looked down upon by most alien species, even Slimo. They're the rats that started the Great War. Like, they're the guys that screwed up everything. And Brick, the hero of them all, has an assuredness and a cockiness about him that it just disgusts other aliens, because why would he think he's anything but dirt, that one? But he doesn't. He thinks he's great. He has to figure out a way to survive in a world where not only is he not the hero, he's also kind of shit on by everybody. And he also, his immediate response to those things are to be very aggressive and very, not mean, but defendy. And I keep using the word machismo a lot. He's got a lot of this sort of like old school idea of what it's to be a man kind of thing kind of built into him. And that doesn't work in the environment that he's in. The idea of like a man is not necessarily even a universal constant in the, sexual diametry is not something that necessarily is even common in some of the species that he's evolved. So there's just all this sort of, he's as completely out of his element as he can be. In a world where humankind has just won the war, he is the perfect guy. In a world where humankind has been kind of forgotten and shit on, and we're kind of out of the war scenario, he doesn't fit. He does have an opportunity in the course of every playthrough to become a real hero, to learn what it is to become an actual hero, to be a little bit more interactive and a little bit less self-involved, and to grow as a character. We're telling stories, so a story arc is very important. And Brick's story arc, Brick is not a catalyst. Brick is not Judge Dredd. By the way, I'm not insulting Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd is one of my favorite characters forever, but Judge Dredd is not the actual main character in any Judge Dredd story. He is a force of nature, and you watch everyone move around him and have all these really interesting story arcs. Judge Anderson is a great example. She grows over 30 years, actual 30 chronological years of the comic. She grows immeasurably due to Judge Dredd's immoving stance on everything and how it interfaces with the universe. I love that arc. That's what we want to show. So, Brick isn't a static character at all. And in fact, the path you drag him down and the things you teach him over the course of the game allow you to express herohood in a completely different way. So his mindset at the beginning is kind of like a little bit more entitled, prettier, slightly dumber Han Solo, and by the end, he's a real hero, a real human being.
Really?
Yes, college reference, love it. We need to just cue college music button, just all time.
Yeah.
Watch Drive, it's amazing.
It's good. Just listen to college, it's fine.
Yeah, but...
Listen to Kavinsky, that's fine.
Yeah.
Listen to Monomer, that's fine.
Yeah.
Listen to Arcade High, that's fine.
Yeah.
Listen to... Bye, Josh! Everyone say goodbye to Josh. He's pussing out, not coming to near
Say bye
the...
to Josh on the stream, everybody.
Why don't you come look into the camera and say goodbye? Like
a
man.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. Yeah.
There he is. Bye, Josh.
Bye.
Bye, Josh. Josh was here for the office day. Now he's leaving.
I want to...
Go home and do more work.
He's going to go home and do more work.
Apparently, Vanessa Williams, you won Miss America in 1983.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. Actually,
Vanessa Williams.
Unfortunately I have a really sad story regarding my name.
Yeah.
I was born a week before the Miss America contest. And my mom thought it was an incredibly unique and beautiful name. She went with Vanessa Williams, and then a week later, this lady wins Miss America, and her name is also Vanessa Williams, and that's fine. Miss America come and go, but no. She has to do the Playboy, like, falling out of Grace scenario all over the front covers. My entire childhood, people are like, we've got Vanessa Williams, oh my gosh, she's naked in exam room 3. I'm like 3 years old at this time. And then I thought she was going to disappear again, but then she had to be in Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I thought she would disappear again, and then she had to do the Pocahontas soundtrack, Colors of the Wind, and I thought she would disappear again. She was doing Activia commercials. I was so close. She had to be starring in Ugly Betty. So I have a long running history with that, Vanessa Williams.
So have you met Vanessa Williams yet?
No, but I've been asked
inevitable.
So many times if I'm related, which is the best question.
That's the dumbest question. That's the dumbest question.
I've been asked so many times.
Are you related to somebody else with a similar name? That's not even a thing.
The same
why is that
racial descent.
No.
Yes, she's my aunt, and they decided they like her so much they named me that same thing.
Nope. It's so weird.
So funnily enough,
so
can I reveal my email address on Twitter?
Yes.
So my email
if you want to
address.
get a bunch of weird ass emails.
It's fine. I don't care. These people are so nice.
Brian Lewis is gonna send you all kinds of weird ass emails.
He already sends me all kinds of weird ass emails, man. My email address is actually not that, VanessaWilliams@gmail.com, because it's just, it never ends. And I'm just embracing it on IMDb because we're part of a film company as well, Ghost Films. I'm the 13th Vanessa Williams. There's 13. There are 12 predecessors in the film industry before me, so it's fine. Whatever.
I think somebody said something. I think it was Photocool maybe. Said that it sounds a little like Demolition Man. Totally not related at all to Demolition Man. I've never even seen Demolition Man. I would never relate our character to John Spark. I'm the main character of Demolition Man, I guess, whatever that guy's name is. And definitely the 3 shells are not predominantly featured on the Holloway Exeter station.
There's a lot of people that feel my pain. Vanessa Williams for life, thank you. Genghis John, 187.
Genghis John. Hello, Genghis John.
John.
Thanks for talking.
Welcome
We've
to
never
the
seen
stream.
you talking to our stream yet. Welcome to our stream.
I want to empathize with Raphael. A little while ago, they were talking about how excited they are for the game and how much they want to be working on it. Aww. Me too, because we are doing so many things here that I have to do lots and lots of tasks that are not coding every minute, like right now. Right. And like, I'm glad I get to talk with you guys. That's awesome. I wish I was coding right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is not... These sort of ideation sessions with you guys are really important from a design perspective, but there's a bunch of stuff we've already designed that needs to actually get executed, but we need to keep this up. You guys are our weapon. You guys are our help. You guys are our support, and without this interaction with you guys and without the support from you guys, we'll never be able to get to the place we need to be to actually fully make the game. So in part, we're making a game and a Kickstarter campaign, and that's... Balancing that when you really just want to be making a game is really hard. We're not professional Kickstartists. No. If that were the case, we'd just be eating nachos and talking about Kickstarter. But we're actually game makers, storytellers. I want nachos too. Can somebody mail us nachos? The stew worked out really well.
Don't just milk that. No.
I'm gonna milk it. I want a pizza. Oh my god. I was watching the stream that Elspeth was doing about us. Motherfucker just ordered a pizza. The pizza shows up. She's like, excuse me, guys. She had a pizza. Pizza's like my favorite food
That's
ever.
why she's a professional streamer.
Because she got this down. Well, then we got this. If that's why she's a professional streamer, get us some pizza, then we will be professional streamers. Then we'll get the money. Then we'll get the Kickstarter. Then we'll make the game you guys want.
So there's a question, and I hope it's, what toppings do you want on your pizza?
I do too. What is the question?
No.
All right, we'll take it anyway.
So this question is from Tanzana.
Tanzana.
Do you visit alien worlds in the game, or does it mostly take place on board ships and space stations?
All of the above.
D, all of the above.
Yeah, D, all of the above. You definitely visit alien worlds. You definitely do. You also go onto ships, space stations, space hulks, the vastness of open divide.
The Baratha Divide.
The Baratha Divide.
Yeah, I mean, Exeter Station is kind of your home base. That's your hub, your hangout, your diner,
your citadel,
your citadel. You just made a reference to the story. I saw you slip that one in there. It's your diner, your truck stop, There's a story about that.
We can talk about that.
Let's do that. Yes, Faziski, it's the same address. That's the Imagos Films and Imagos Softworks headquarters. and also we sleep in a room attached to it. So yeah, that is the same address. The Hollow Exeter Space Station is a giant city. It's a giant city, but 130 years ago it wasn't. 130 years ago it was a truck stop with a nice diner attached, and it's just been adding on, and it became a super Kmart kind of thing, and it just kept growing and growing for 130 years until it's a giant. It has its own civilization inside, and its own.
It's a space station within a space.
Station. Yeah, it's a space station within a space station within a space station. It's a 130 years of build up. So there's all kinds of. It's a city inside of there. So there's gonna be bottle episodes that are just in the station, but that doesn't mean like that's like saying there are gonna be bottle episodes that are like in New York. Yeah, it's fine. It's big. Yes, Kazu, another question.
Buzzyski says, who delivers where you currently are at, and what do you want?
What?
I'm actually, that's something that we would take time to go find out, and we're doing a show, unfortunately. If you want to do the work,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We like cheese pizza. Cheese pizza is a good bet. She's veggie, so veggies are cool. I hate olives.
I love olives.
I hate olives though. I hate olives.
I don't like olives.
Yeah, he doesn't like olives either. Other than that, I like cheese. I like sauces. Lots of sauce. Garlicky stuff is good.
What's your favorite?
Yeah, what's your
pizza?
favorite? As long as it has no mushroom or no olives on it.
This should be olives. Like
all the olives.
Olives under the cheese and on top of cheese and in the crust.
It's gonna be like a Chicago style, but the crust is made of like mashed
olive like rounds.
They're gonna send like a giant olive. Yes, another question.
Genghis John 187 writes, when you guys get a new employee, does someone play mean jokes on them? And if so, does that mean that person referred to as the Starr Mazer?
Oh! No, but yes now! The Starr Mazer.
How does it feel, Kazuo?
Yeah, so Kazuo is our second to newest employee. Mariah is actually our newest employee. She was an actor that we used a bunch, but she's also really good at doing associate producing. So we just hired her, like 2 weeks ago hired her to help us out with this and to get on some other stuff. But Kazuo, come over here for a second.
Oh,
why don't you discuss with the camera what it's like to be a new employee at Imagos?
I get yelled at a lot. But overall, it's very good. It's rewarding work. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to manage, and it's awesome.
All right, shut your whore mouth and sit down behind the camera.
Yes, sir.
That was a joke. Lay on the ground like the dog you are. Yes, you have to speak.
What?
Tusky has a question.
Yeah.
You've already stated that Brick would start out in a cryo sleeper pod. Will that pod play a part in the story? Say maybe you could just sleep the whole game away for one of the endings.
Speed run. That's the best. Just keep hitting the snooze. That's the best. I don't know. We haven't really worked that out. The cryo pod is definitely available. And we haven't really worked it into stories yet, but that is a cool idea. I'd like to point out to Christina, you were like, don't refer to Chicago crust as pizza. You're right. I fucking hate it. I'm sorry if you guys like it. I know some people in this room like Chicago-style pizza. I hate it. It's not pizza. It's the worst. It's like a lasagna or a cake or something. It's not even good.
Bacon mushroom.
Pepperoni and bacon mushroom would be great, except for this one. It's a great combo. I love pepperoni and mushrooms. This one...
It's okay. I'm getting used to just watching you guys eat.
She's a pescatarian. She's not. She's
Big Bull Flank is heading out. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah. So yeah.
You should tell you're probably at that hackathon this weekend. You should tell people.
Yeah, you should tell people about Starr Mazer.
Let's hit that milestone.
Let's hit that milestone. Let's pump it up and get a little farther than the milestone. Maybe get to those other rewards that we might hint at later tonight. Yes, Kazuo.
Iron Mal writes, will there be any content in the game for people who like olives?
No.
No, and if we lost user backer, I don't care. I'm kidding. No, I'm not, and I wouldn't write it. I'm not the sole writer. I'm the director and designer. She is technically the lead writer, and I will be so up to my eyeballs in game design and execution and directing of the thing that I'm positive I'll be like recording voices one day, and I'll be like, and action, and they'll be like, so I really love olives, and I'll be like, wait, what? Where did the olives come from? But I will have no control at that point. I'll be just like a chicken with my head cut off.
Iron Mouse, I totally understand.
Tweet at Vanessa at the right time when she's writing the right episode, and olives they just might find their way in.
Yeah, yeah. If you tweeted Vanessa, she's a Filmette at Twitter. Filmette. If you tweeted her that you like olives enough, I'm positive at some point they'll probably end up in the game, much to my dismay.
Oh, Iron Mouse has a point. Vanessa, I brought you orange Pims. You owe me olives. That's true.
Iron Mouse, that's not fair. You didn't know. That would work if you had beaten Star Parodia with us, but you didn't. You failed. You got old and tired.
Like me.
Oh, I gotta go to work in an hour. I've been up for 30 hours. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, whatever. No olives for you. None. 0 olives.
We'll talk.
No more questions? Sweet. Let's talk about more aspects of the narrative. Let's talk a little bit about talk a little bit about the Baratha Divide.
That's a weird question, man. The Baratha Divide is a giant, vast, open space of nothingness. Not even space.
Should we talk about like the landscape of like what the space station?
Sure,
is
I'll get. Yeah, that's a good idea. The sort of like the triangular phenomena kind of thing. It's like we'll get to that in a second. But the Baratha Divide is a vast, empty, like swath of nothingness that can't be scanned. You can enter it, but we don't know if even reality works correctly inside of it. And people can get lost there for hundreds of years. Time doesn't work the same way inside of there. The Gel were lost in there for a very, very, very long time until the start of our particular story. Their history is rich and crazy. If you watched Elspeth's show, she probably talked about it a bit.
And the Baratha Divide may or may not be responsible for some crossover action.
Oh no, yeah, totally.
It allows for all sorts of crazy things to occur. So
we've got this thing going on with the Hollow Exeter. The space station was made for a reason. Some enterprising truck stop guy realized that if he parked his space truck stop in between 3-dimensional shifting phenomena, there was a high degree of likelihood that lost people would show up really needing fuel now. So there is a gravity lensing nebula. So that allows time to shift differently as you're going in and out of it. So imagine you think you're going, I planned it all out. And you go into the nebula and it turns out you actually traveled for 300 years. And you had no idea why. Or what felt like 300 years was 2 minutes and you used up all your fuel. So there's a gravity lensing effect there. There's the Baratha Divide, which you already discussed. You can go into it, you can go a foot into it, and it can take you 30 years to get out. It can take you a minute to get out, but you come out on the other side of the galaxy. Who knows? And then we have a dying star known only as the Fist, around which all kinds of celestial phenomena take place. And right smack dab in between those in 3D space is the Hollow Exeter Station, kind of its own enclosed alien hub world of all kinds of races and designations. Yes, Kazuo?
Hey, Tanzana, right? Favorite games this past year? Games you are looking forward to?
Favorite games this last year? How about Austin? You start that one, and we'll go down the line.
My favorite game of last year,
let's just go with our favorite games and then looking forward to. So let's start with favorite games.
Oh, of all time or last year?
Last year.
Last year. I have to think about that because I have to think about releases. But I can tell you what I'm excited about. I'm going to go tell you what I'm excited about.
Wait, let's not do that. Let's do me a favor.
Okay.
Pick a favorite game release of last year.
Okay.
And then favorite game you played last year.
Yes.
Like you may not have played it before. You know what I'm saying? Because I've got two. I'm just asking you to answer a question I've got answers for already. I'm kind of cheating.
Yeah. All right. What is my favorite game that came out last year? I'm thinking about all sorts of release dates and what I picked up and everything.
It should stand out. What's foremost in your brain? That's what favorite is. That's the thing you remember the most. Is the best.
I don't remember if it came out at the end of the year before. Samurai Gun. So I'm going to say Samurai Gun.
Okay.
I think that came out last year. I don't know what's exactly. Oh my god, I love that game. I'll play that forever, and I'll beat all of you unless you're Thu, in which case I won't beat you. But I'll get maybe next time.
So what's your favorite game that you played last year that may not have come out last year? Or that you definitely know didn't come out last year?
Well, that's easy. I can always say Mario Brothers 3 because I play that every
That's your
year.
favorite game. Okay. So how about yourself?
Well, I've kind of had a weird like black hole effect with games, and
just last year.
All right. Was Shovel Knight from last year?
Yes, it was.
Shovel Knight, definitely. That was an incredible experience to me, and I got very emotional playing it. So, and I actually I'm like craving it right now. I want to like play it again. I want to do another run through. And then my experience would probably be.
You've had a couple of really cool ones.
I know. I'm in the middle right now of playing the Alien game.
Isolation?
Alien Isolation. Yeah. And that's just been a really fun experience. I really am enjoying that a lot. But probably Mario Kart.
Mario Kart 8? That also came out last year.
The newest Mario Kart. Yeah, 8.
Cool. I'm gonna have to go in with Shovel Knight for a 2014 favorite game. I think. Am I missing something? Have I? No, Shovel Knight.
No, Shovel Knight's like your favorite game ever.
It is. It's incredible. I have the box copy of Shovel Knight just on my desk. I look at it every time I'm working on the game. I'm like, gotta be better than that one. It's nearly impossible.
That's the bar.
That's the bar. Gotta be better than Shovel Knight. Which is again nearly impossible. So I think it's my favorite game release of 2014. I think in 2014 I played for the first time. I played all the way through Hotline Miami. I'd never really played. I played it on the PlayStation 4 a little bit, and the controls didn't feel tight enough. They felt very loose. Everything was very moogey and movie. So I moved over to Steam, and the mouse and keyboard fucking was the worst. I hated it.
Wait, you hated it?
I hated it.
Oh, that's my jam.
It's just I'm not from the twin stick transfer.
Okay.
That's not a mouse and keyboard thing I'm used to.
Fair
For me, mouse and keyboard, WSAD, first person shooter kind of thing, or tactical game. The moving around with the mouse, the gun, it was just, I wasn't accurate enough.
Okay.
I didn't like it, so I needed a tighter experience. It wasn't until I got it free. I got a code from me knowing somebody to download it onto the Vita, and those tiny little analog. Oh shit! It was just perfectly tight. I loved it. It's great. I would go to bed at like 4 in the morning because I was working, and then play fucking Hotline Miami until like 7 in the morning. Just murdering everybody. Just coming up with the coolest ways. Like I would beat the mission, but I'd want to go through and do it with like firing 2 shots, or like hitting everybody's head against the wall. I was just obsessed over the game for the longest period of time. And at one point, Vanessa would like come over and look and be like, "This is so disturbing."
It's so
like not because the game is disturbing, because it's pretty disturbing, but like the degree of like effectiveness I was trying to achieve in just absolute murder was really crazy. And I remember like I would just like talk to her. I'd be like, I think this guy might be actually crazy. Like I like go on these like big long stories about this.
He'd like
really
show me the apartment, how the apartment had changed,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
was showing me stuff, and I was just like,
And the girl's in the bathtub, and then the girl, she won't
and then
talk
she
to
just,
you.
like,
And then
disappears
she
or
disappears. Oh
something.
man, it was so good.
What happened to the girl?
It leaves enough holes for you to make up this.
Yeah.
So
It's exactly
scary.
opposite of Starr Mazer. It's just like, there's some stuff, figure it out, and then you never figure it out.
So
And,
good.
It leaves
then you play another guy for some period of time. It's weird. So I really love that. Then actually, it inspired me to play on the PlayStation 4 and play through it entirely again, learning the more woogey control, or the more loose control scheme. And then I got to play Hotline Miami 2.
I'm so jealous.
Same guy that I knew who gave me the. Oh, I'm so excited. So I'm super amped. So let's start that. Super amped for Hotline Miami 2 for sure. But the biggest game release that upcoming game release that I'm excited for is Starr Mazer.
I was gonna say I really enjoyed sports ball.
Sports ball's great.
Thank you. That is the game I spent the most hours on last year. And it is one of my top, but I didn't
feel
even
shitty
care
that I
to
didn't
pick
mention
my
it, but
own
this is a weird
game.
thing. I don't know if you guys understand this. I worked on sports ball. Yes, I very much consider it a game. Yes, I very much like the game. But we were like talking about game releases, and
It felt weird to pick my own game because I fucking love sports
I
ball.
picked Starr
play a
Mazer
lot.
as an upcoming game because we're selling it right now.
Yeah.
Like, I am excited to make this
But-
game for you. I was excited to make sports ball.
If
and
you
it's coming
are
out.
having a party at your place and you want a bunch of friends to just be like jumping and screaming and having a great time, though, sports ball is the game for you. Like, it's an incredible party game. I love it.
And it's less than the price of a large pizza.
Nice. Are we done answering? Because I know there's a bunch of questions went by.
Let's get to the questions.
Yeah. Okay, go for it.
Okay. Brick should have his own Twitter account. Wait, is Twitter still a thing when he wakes up?
Oh.
I wanted to talk to Austin about
Twitter's
this.
become like
You've reached the
McDonald's.
thing that I wanted to talk to Austin about.
You want to just talk about it live?
Yeah, let's talk about what live.
Alright, let's see, what's this thing?
I played iDarb a bunch, and I was really a fan of it.
iDarb, yeah.
Oh yeah, man. It's
iDarb's really cool.
It's so simple and so sweet. I hate sports more than anything. I love iDarb. Honestly, the only concern I had about it, I'm going to redeem myself. This is an honest. I said this out loud. Sports ball feels much tighter. iDarb was cool.
Thank you.
Sports ball felt like iDarb was more like, it's frenetic and I don't know what's happening. Sports ball.
iDarb's the internet.
Yeah,
Like, that's
yeah,
what it is.
It is. Sports ball, you put a couple hours in and you can control that fucking ball. If you get the bird you like and you
Yeah.
you can get that.
It's so addictive.
similar, put the ball in the net. You know, frantic shit happening, put the ball in the net. I like sports ball better, but iDrive was really cool. I did like the Twitter integration. I like games that can connect outward of themselves, and I want to integrate with Twitter in some way.
With Starr Mazer.
With Starr Mazer.
Okay.
But I want it to fit the story. And I want to be like updates from the Exeter station. I do
Could
think.
they be like obsessively watching sports ball? Can that be like?
Not with sports ball, with Twitter.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, we are going to integrate sports ball into
Jesus,
the
sorry, my
Holiday
brain
Exeter.
just
That's the thing.
completely blocked
Actually,
out.
that is another
everything you
conversation. We
said.
did discuss how to do like online matches with Twitter and
With
sports
Twitter,
ball,
yeah.
but that requires online multiplayer, which is something that requires a lot more time.
Yeah. So definitely, I would like to integrate some kind of social media into your playthrough of Starr Mazer. I don't know what that looks like yet, but we definitely want to give that a shot. What's the next question?
Yeah, I got some thoughts on how we can do
Eclipse
it.
Husky writes, how many probing Uranus pickup lines will Brick attempt to use?
I think actually that's an infinite, right? You can infinitely come up with probing Uranus pickup lines.
Yeah.
I think we'll
we're limited by scope because we have to ship the game on a certain time.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe hundreds.
If we can get enough money, if we breach that
The
300,000,
limits of our
we can hire another writer
Just
for a
probing.
year and 3 months
I
of
can only
Uranus
think of
pickup
so
lines.
many Uranus, pickup lines,
Yeah.
and I will run out. So.
Well, then we're gonna hit a technical limitation because there's only a certain amount of memory the game can store up in real time. But if we could make the game increase the install size of it, and we'll create a system to quickly navigate that, like a database.
Why aren't we?
Right?
No. If we're integrating social, why don't we go live? Why don't we have a server? We don't hire a writer. We hire a server engineer and an algorithm guy. The algorithm guy stitches together procedurally generated Uranus pickup lines, and we store them dynamically on a server, and they're weighted by use and drop off by displeasure or whatever. And it's a server. The game has to phone home. It has to be online.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now it's like always online connectivity for Starr Mazer, which I think in this case is an acceptable compromise.
We could do a thing. Like online experience is not rated. Your best use is online. We'll have like 300 Uranus pickup lines built in,
and we can do required updates through Steam and whatnot. So at least you're getting more recent ones.
But if you are online though, we just infinite.
Yeah.
Infinite.
Okay, yeah, and so we'll have a hashtag for it. You can just tweet at it, right? And then it'll pick them
We'll
up.
let the
from Twitter.
world write them.
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying.
Oh
No,
God!
So no, the game is just it's just scraping Twitter.
Yeah.
You put a special hashtag in, and you can put in your pickup line, and that will just pop up in your dialogue options.
And
it will just constantly be updating.
Yeah, and there will be one character in the game that constantly says, actually it's pronounced Uranus. Actually, it's
He's just
pronounced
always like there to
Uranus.
pop up.
Yeah.
No matter where the
It's from
conversation
anywhere.
is
He's in the
happening.
Star Wolf. Actually, sir, it's pronounced Uranus.
Yeah. Just
That guy
toasty,
in
like come on the side of the
Godzilla.
screen.
Toasty, Uranus.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Good idea. All right. We've got
so
that.
we did it.
Boom.
Locked. Feature.
Brian Lewis asks, how do the episodes and seasons work within the concept of the game? Assuming the Kickstarter goes through, is the Starr Mazer that gets produced season 1? If so, how will we get other seasons? How will we get other seasons made?
Okay, so this is very interesting. The simple answer is sales, right? We sell 1 million copies. We're making more Starr Mazer seasons. Super simple. But there's this weird fine line we're riding. Season 1 is what you get. That's not an incomplete experience. It's a totally complete experience. Look at it as any season of TV. You don't know this, but from working in the film industry, TV seasons are always one-off. You order a season. That's what if 2 episodes go well and the ratings are up, they'll order another season. But it's always one-off. The season has to begin, have a middle, and end completely. Because at any point, fuck it, we're out. Like it's got to be a complete experience. And the best shows, Firefly, for instance, had the expectation that it might not make it, and didn't make it. Halfway through, they were canceled, and they knew that they had to finish out the 13 episodes and finish the story. Firefly is great. Everybody likes it. It's a complete experience. We'd like more, but that 13 episodes worked. Same thing in Starr Mazer. The number of seasons will slightly vary based on playthrough style and whatever, but the season's a complete experience, and you can play through that. One of the biggest sells, and Austin came up with the best way to describe it is, and I'll use Firefly since we just brought it up. One playthrough is like watching Firefly all the way through. The second playthrough is like watching Firefly all the way through again, except it's different stuff that happens. Same characters, same.
You change the order of the episodes,
Exactly.
which has an effect on it.
An exponential effect.
Yeah.
a cascading effect, I think is what you're going for.
Yeah.
So there's that. But how do we make more? Again, there's a fine line, and this fine line is very distinct because every time we drop a new piece of content into the game, it exponentially changes all those episodes. It changes context for things. Dropping a new item in can change some of the way some of the episodes work. So episode 1 or season 1 will come out, and we'll drop stuff after season 1's out. So when do we determine that we're making an entirely different season? And I think the different season is going to require an entire rebuild time, an entirely new development cycle where we determine, okay, we know what Starr Mazer is. What is Starr Mazer Season 2? What is the distinct difference from just dropping all kinds of content into Season 1 that makes Season 2 special and unique? And that's going to take money, bro. Best way to get Season 2 is to fund us at $3 million. In the next...
Let's hit that milestone.
15 days. You hit it. $3 million and we'll release both of them. Yeah.
According to the time now, Fuzzy Ski says pizza is about 25 to 35 minutes out.
Pizza!
Fuzzy Ski, thank you.
That's
Here,
so cool.
I'm going to say
good
something.
Lord.
Do not take this offensive in any way because you have been unbelievably,
So
incredibly
cool.
supportive, and I haven't, unfortunately, linked your username to your real name, to your pledge level or whatever, but thank you for spending money on us. That money going to the Kickstarter. I don't really mean that. I'm actually really excited for pizza.
That's so cool.
Like, yeah, thank you so much.
That's money that we don't have to spend on
Yeah,
pizza.
it's money we don't have until the Kickstarter goes. So that's really great. No, I'm saying we don't actually. We're going for Kickstarter because we don't have a lot of money to just throw around.
Actually, that's
He
true.
bought us dinner.
Really
That's
cool.
incredible. Thank you. We will
Thank
eat
you.
it
That is
live
awesome.
on Starr Mazer TV.
I can match it. I can match the pizza pledge. I'll do it out of my own pocket. Fuzziski, I'll pledge on your behalf. I'll match that pizza.
That's
Pizza
incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah, hit me up or something. We'll figure out that we'll get that pizza pledge.
The pizza
Nice.
pledge. That's great.
I can't commit that with everyone. Don't just start sending me tons of pizzas. I'm an independent
You can
developer.
send me tons of pizzas if
and-
he's gonna back them. That's great. I'll take them. We will eat the pizzas.
I'm an
Kazuo is
independent
starving.
developer. I
I
cannot
never
fund this
feed the kid.
project
It's
on my
unfair.
own.
Actually, yesterday
I'll
I
match
fed him
that
too
pizza
much
pledge.
pizza, didn't I?
Yeah.
He had way too much pizza. I accidentally forced Kazuo to eat
him.
pizza. I accidentally forced him.
You have a forceful tone.
Kazuo is amazing and will make things happen if you
Yeah.
ask it.
So
him
I,
to do
in
it.
passing, told him that I would be very disappointed in him as a human being if he didn't finish the 28-inch piece of pizza. It was a slice of a 28-inch piece of pizza, of which he'd already had one slice. So then that slice is like this big.
None of us ate two
No,
full.
and he
No,
ate all of
Kazuo
it.
ate
And
too.
he did.
He did, and you could see Kazuo was very skinny. He's not like
He had like a little pizza.
he had a little.
box.
There was a whole like a unique little thing down there, like its own little hemisphere.
It
Yes.
Alright. Ninja Mushroom 134 asked, you said that humanity has been almost wiped out. Will
Yeah.
any of the races you meet on the station have taken part in that? And what will that mean to Brick?
Exactly what you think it will. Yes, that's the case. He will encounter a number of. But it's been 130 years, so these people don't think to themselves, of course, my great-grandfather's grandfather wiped out your species. But Brick will definitely, it's fresh in his memory. So that will cause a lot of tension and a lot of crazy experiences. And imagine story scenarios where he has to team up with some of these people who themselves aren't terrible people. They just come from and what if, here, the perspective is very important, right? So Brick thought he's saving humanity, but throughout the story you find out that it's a little less cut and dry than that. Humanity isn't terrible, but humanity is not great, neither is any other alien species. Or any alliance made between multiple alien species and sentient robots and other stuff. So it's never cut and dry. To Brick, he starts the story with a very cut and dry idea of the world and has to spend his time realizing that it's not cut and dry. Imagine a scenario where he has to befriend somebody who doesn't even recognize, who doesn't even know what a human is, whose forefathers actually participated in the wiping out of humankind. That would be devastating to somebody who just fought, and watched his people die. But to the other guy, he doesn't know. He's the dude. And so that's going to cause a lot of really interesting story elements that this one gets to write about.
Genghis John 187 comments, hey Don, if you liked Hotline Miami, you should check out the movie called The Guest.
Oh.
Yes!
Yeah.
Genghis John, dude, The Guest. Oh my
It's so
god.
good.
I went into The Guest. I don't.
Zero
The
expectations.
U.S. trailer for it was shit. It was the
So
worst
bad.
trailer. It was like the guy from Downton Abbey is gonna act kind of creepy and try to hit on a mom. Like, that's the trailer.
Yeah,
that was the
so
entire
weird.
trailer. And I was like, we went there. We went to the movie. Vanessa and I, we go to movies a lot to, like, examine story and stuff. We went to the movie thinking this is going to be the shittiest movie. We had all kinds of concessions because we were going to, like, joke around and make fun of the movie.
Yeah.
10 minutes in, I was like, this is the best movie.
It's so good.
And it just kept going.
Well,
By the end of the film, with the synths going, and you're in the gym, and it's Halloween, and it's like, yeah, it's the best movie ever. And he's literally, it's Hotline Miami, the movie.
Wait.
It's so good.
I always thought Drive was Hotline Miami. Or
No, Drive
Miami
is like a
was
pale
Drive the
shadow.
video game.
Drive is like a pompous, artistic auteur version of this movie. The Guest is what you wanted, what you thought Drive was being.
Drive is like one of my favorite
Hold
movies.
on, watch The Guest, because Drive
Drive
is
would blow my mind.
when you watch The Guest and you watch Drive. Drive is basically like Nicholas Winding Refn going, "Oh yes, the '80s were very stylish," and The Guest was like, "Fuck yeah, murder motherfuckers, neon and pink and synths,
Oh
go
my
go
good
go!"
Lord.
It was so good. It's so good. Genghis John, thank you.
Express
That's
words
incredible.
of how excited
Watch
I am
The
to know
Guest.
this
Can we
is
watch The Guest together? Can we watch it here? Can you come to our place and we watch it?
It's so
need to watch
So,
it.
I want to watch it again. I want to watch it 15
Yeah.
times. We left. I'm like, I gotta watch that movie again right now.
Watch it right
Well,
after.
It was
like
so
I said,
good.
like the ad, it was just, it made it look like and your son died in war, and I'm back, and I'm a little creepy.
but there's
I
something
don't
creepy
know.
about me, and
But
that's it.
But I'm gonna get with
No.
your sister,
Yeah.
dead dude, and music, but not the music
That's the
that's
music from
actually
the
in
actual-
the
yeah.
film.
I'd like to point out that we have been in discussions with and will announce that there are artists from that soundtrack and we're in our game. It's true. Yeah. So go ahead. Next question.
Christina writes. Someone on Twitter asks, "Can we get Drifter from Zeo Drifter as a cameo on Starr Mazer?"
I would love that. Oh God, I love Zeo Drifter. Do you like Zeo Drifter?
I've played it a little bit. I haven't like got immersed in it. I only played it like for a few minutes at IndieCade.
Zeo Drifter is a complete experience once you've played it.
Okay.
It's like a 2 or 3 hour. It's so, but once you get to it just
Okay, because like I played it, I was like, all right, this is beautiful low-res pixel art Metroidvania.
Yeah.
I didn't get the hook. So there's a thing.
It's iteration. The hook is iteration. And,
Okay,
and once
alright.
you complete the cycle, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
It feels good. You feel complete. And I wanted to play again immediately, even though I knew it would not be a different experience at all. So yeah, Cast will definitely. I'm sorry, Christina. That's Cast Pixel is her Twitter handle. We'll definitely see if we can make that happen.
Zeo Drifter is. I mean, I was hanging out with that booth there thing
Yeah.
because they had it at IndieCade because they're an indie,
Yeah.
which is a thing about Nintendo developers. Anyway, I know you can
played
get
it
Zeo
on
Drifter.
3DS. It was really
yeah, you can
good,
get it on
yeah.
3DS eShop.
It was really good. Yes. Next question.
Cliff Tusky writes, "Will the Star Wolf have limitations on where it can go from the start, or will the game simply let you try to even navigate the toughest routes without the proper gear for the Star Wolf? Also, will there be a difficulty setting at the start, or will the difficulty be solely based on your own choices?"
Taking aspects of this, yes, there will be the ability to pick the difficulty, and you will be adjusting the difficulty as you play. There's sort of 2 levels of that. There's a lot of design reasons as to why we want to have you select difficulties, because we can only do so much dynamic stuff, but a lot of it is curtailed to your experience and the choices you make in encountering the challenge. As far as being able to go anywhere in the world right away, I think, like, from a design perspective, I want to put limitations on that, and just that, like, if you provide way too much in the beginning, it can be very overwhelming. For example, like, if you just complete clean slate and you have no idea where to go, no context, that can be intense. The way I want to approach it is that if you're in the know, you can go where you want. But your first time playing, you aren't going to have that knowledge, you aren't going to have that experience, you're not going to know about all the paths. And so it'll seem like it's limited, but the world is opened up. Iteration is going to actually physically decide that answer. We're going to try both aspects and see how players respond. But yeah, my intention is to make it that the world is open if you have that knowledge. But if you don't have that knowledge, it is guiding you towards the course of making the choices and the play experiences that you want to do.
Yeah, I'd like to throw in on this one as well, though. You can, if you do have the knowledge,
Yeah.
and are not yet equipped, you can go into a situation where you're not equipped and you have
absolutely.
to be turned away or eject from the Star Wolf and have to have it rebuilt somewhere or whatever. That can definitely happen.
I'm talking more about the scope of, like, is it absolutely every single area in the entire game?
No.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, I mean, part of the
much.
game is discovering those
Exactly.
things. One of my favorite parts of Fallout 3 or Skyrim, for that matter, is realizing that the 10 things I have on my map are 1/100th of the actual things I can find, but I have to somehow either be told about them or find a map or
Yeah.
get close enough to see a thing. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So Brian Lewis asks, how will we learn about Brick's past during the war? In flashback cutscenes?
Can I talk about the thing?
Go for it.
The time thing? Okay, so, interesting thing, because we have this really awesome system that pays attention to all the decisions you've made, we don't have to care about time. We only care about things that you did. So, I'm really excited about this system where what we do is, there are events that happen, that are talked about, that characters reference, that things like are discussed and whatnot, and then there are going to be sections of the game where either through flashback or through actual time travel, you can go back and experience those events that were talked about. Like when the game starts, like we have the cutscene in the beginning that shows sort of Brick's awakening. When the game actually starts, Brick's been awake for a little while. He's already done some things. There's already some story built up in this timeline. And so there are things in there that are discussed in the narrative of other experiences, other characters you interact with. Like I mentioned earlier, you've already been on many adventures with Slimo, but when the game starts off, you won't have played all those adventures. When you go back and you play scenarios of the game where you are either like time traveling or reminiscing about it, you're actually going to be physically playing that scenario, which means you'll be able to make choices. Those choices might be different than what people have said. And so when you do it, that is now canon, and that actually influences the world. And that's one of the systems that I'm really excited about because it shows off sort of the technical power of the open middle gameplay.
Yeah, we record everything.
But it also, it talks about a world where people will say things and discuss events that aren't necessarily the truth. Right. And it's not the truth until you like physically experience it. And that's sort of an aspect in the world.
I'd like to point out to Faziski that I absolutely do know exactly who you are. I've known who you are since we first started talking on our first podcast, our first stream rather. I just didn't want to say your name all over the interwebs. So yeah, I know who you are, dude. It's cool. We had a good time at the Pig Squad event.
And we will do just as you say. So thank you so much. It's
the pizza thing is incredible.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
It's so cool.
Now it's expected every time. You know that we're going to be doing this every day, don't you? It seems like you didn't have to worry about dinner for the next 14 days.
We got to figure out that Elspeth, like, you can, like...
Push a button and get her pizza.
And get her...
I think there's you set up a bot and then you type in a command and then it just does things for you. One of those must be order pizza.
Order pizza.
Yeah. We need that.
Kazuo, get on this business.
Actually, Eclipse Husky mentioned to us just before we went on the stream if we had our bot set up. We don't yet because we're doing things manually.
We're learning this, yeah.
Oh, yes, Eclipse Husky, please, if you have any information about bots, please send that to
that'd be incredible.
Us at social@starmazer.com.
Social@starmazer.com.
That's cause.
I will read it and I will do it. Yeah.
I mean, you'll notice there's already been a vast improvement since
like look at this!
Look
at this right here! This is incredible! This didn't exist before. And we've got all, if you watch our gameplay videos, like our last night we did 2 of them, we had like chat on the window and gameplay in the window. It's the best thing ever.
The meal thing is a site thing. Huh, okay.
Nice, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Laser Kid, back around robin pizza buying. Okay, so every dollar we don't spend on food is a dollar we spend on Starr Mazer. So that's an incredible idea. I love that idea. And also pizza's like my favorite food, so.
Pizza Pledge.
Pizza Pledge. PizzaPledge.com.
I'm eating so much pizza, I feel like a piece of pizza.
Oh, do you?
I do.
You are implying things.
No, I just
Madame.
I eat so much pizza with you.
Sure.
It's like it's been months.
Yes. Pizza.
This is where you whisper, help me.
One of us.
Consensus.
Sweet. Are we waiting on any narrative questions?
What is that actually from?
Let's get into some more narrative.
Not from a thing. Yeah, that's okay. So I've got 14 years of history that I can talk about. So I think so Donna is going to go on a fast for Starr Mazer. That's not true. No,
then we would have one less director on the project.
I need to be functional. I'm already nearly not functional because I'm not sleeping like one human being should be sleeping. Kind of falling asleep on my keyboard, just to keep up with stuff. Starr Mazer TV is very fun and it's really cool. We think it's incredibly valuable, and though we're laughing around, we're also sharing valuable information with you guys, and that's super important. It is work. And it actually is in a scheduled day of work. And our scheduled days are like 14-hour days. So this is part of our work schedule doing this. It's fun, and sometimes we get pizza, and Monday I'm getting horchata, and that's the greatest. But it is work, and it's hard work. I know this doesn't feel like hard work, and this is basically the least hard work of our hard work during the day, but it's also, in the middle of a work day. I did not sleep last night. I went to bed and checked our kick track for 2 hours, and then I came back out and started doing work.
Kicktrack is such a horrible website.
Oh.
You shouldn't be allowed to look at it.
Just because it exposes so much data,
No.
and you're like the curves are all wrong.
It's all wrong. No, it's trying to predict something that is completely unpredictable, and you're letting as a team, we're getting emotionally attached to this thing that is just useless. It's a useless data tracker.
Yeah.
It can tell us previously up to the most recent hour or two, like what we've done, but as far as projection, it's so off.
I know a number you can get emotionally attached to. The thousands of people supporting us.
Yeah, that is a
That's
number that
mind-blowing.
That's
So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Austin made a tweet recently about that, and it was only 1,500 people. It wasn't thousands yet.
Yeah.
About how meaningful that was, and that has really resonated. I actually, I saved a screenshot of that tweet, and it's something that I go back to. He also sent me something that I thought was really cool. There's a forum. Which forum was it?
This was on GameFAQs?
GameFAQs. The GameFAQs forum about Starr Mazer. He sent me the link and said...
I was searching for Starr Mazer news, and I found a link to GameFAQs. I'm like, that's a forum. People are posting things about, so I checked it out. Yeah.
And he sent it to me in a Skype message, and it says, "Just keep hold of this for a rainy day." And I had just gotten off of an interview with somebody who totally didn't buy the idea of Starr Mazer, and he hated the idea, and it was the worst thing ever. And I opened up that link, and it was just a bunch of really cool dudes being really awesome about Starr Mazer, and it was just a whole forum full of it.
So if you were one of those people on GameFAQs just talking to that forum, thank you.
Yes.
We can just, if it's ever hard, if it's ever rough, like something's not going together, things aren't working, I can just go to that URL and feel better because people are really excited about the game. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's very meaningful. The thing to keep in mind is we are not like a nameless, faceless corporation. We're people. We're people who are trying to do a thing. We're trying to express dreams, and to have that shit on by people is hard. To see it potentially not work is harder, and to have people out there who believe in it is the greatest thing. I mean, people tell stories and make art for other people. You guys are specifically the people that we're doing it for, and to know that you appreciate it it keeps us going. It makes it so that I can get up the next morning even though I've only slept 2 hours, and I can write 3 updates, and I can contact 50 different sites, and I can do all the businessy stuff that has to go along with running a company that's going to make a game, and I can yell at Kazuo for being late to the stream and stuff.
I was on time.
You were down. I was
40
kidding.
minutes
I'm
early.
so kidding. I'm totally joking.
So should we switch at this point from talking about story to talking about Kickstarter goals?
Let's ask them.
Okay.
So we talked about a lot of stuff, which is really cool. You guys kind of drove the conversation. We were expecting to get into a bigger narrative discussion, but we do have 14 more days that we're going to be doing stuff like this, and then over the course of the development cycle, once we get funded, we'll definitely be doing Starr Mazer TV at a more regular pace. But let's say we do want to talk to you guys about stretch goals. That was something we wanted to get absolute interactive feedback on, because we have some stretch goal ideas and we have some ideas of where to place them, but we want to know what you guys think. Some of those will be metered by actual hard costs, but some of them are, we just wanted to see, we've got a ton of ideas and a limited amount of stretch goals and maybe some other backer rewards. But we want to talk to you about those. But are we done talking about story yet, or do we just pause the story conversation until another episode? That's kind of the question we're asking. Yes, Kaz.
Iron Mao has a question. Will the puzzles in Starr Mazer be based in real-world physics/logic, or will they involve in-world concepts that are foreign to players? For example, a puzzle where you combine a laser and a mirror to set fire to something around the corner, versus a puzzle where you combine a green Trump plasm with a cogwix to wake up the Flurbit, which only responds to a purring cogwix.
Iron Mouse is an English major. I know he actually is.
Oh, okay.
It's Matthew Moore. So yeah, we know.
Okay.
Yeah. Both. C. I think there were 2 options, so it's C. All of the above?
D, all of the above. Well,
there was no C.
I'm sure there was.
Oh, okay. Then it's D. All of the above. There's always
all of the above.
There's always a D. D. All of the above. We definitely are gonna do.
Pizza's
we're gonna
downstairs.
combine both of those. What pizza? What?
Pizza.
Pizza is downstairs, ladies and gentlemen. You guys decide what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go get the pizza.
Okay.
Go get the pizza.
I'm doing it.
Holy crap!
Thank you
this is
so
what
much.
happens.
This is happening in real life.
I
Oh my
will
gosh.
finish up the answer to this question. Yeah, so there was going to be all sorts of different puzzles. A lot of it will be based off the context of the narrative of the game and the things that you learn as a player, and also just some like actual real-world experience and real-world knowledge of how physical things work. That being said, one thing I want to highly emphasize is that you will never be placed in a situation in which you do not have the tools to solve the puzzle. We've talked about this a little bit before, the concept of scaring the snake, which is a reference to a poorly done puzzle in another point-and-click adventure, but it is often the case where in point-and-click adventures, especially old classic ones, that a lot of humor was put into puzzles, which made great puns, but also frustrated players amazingly. And so my personal goal, as that's one of the things I didn't like about those genres, is that any puzzle that you need to solve, anything you need to figure out is laid before you. You'll have the tools, you just need to figure out what it is. If you don't have the tools, then it's not a puzzle you should be working on right now. And because the game is not specifically linear, there'll be many options, many routes that you can take. You can go down a different path for a little while, think about it, and maybe get some items, purchase some items, or get assistance of other characters to help you solve that situation.
So is that a little bit more like, I remember a lot of that kind of elementation? That's not a word.
No, but we'll use it.
In old Final Fantasy games, where you would come across somebody and be like, I can't find all my chickens or whatever, and then you don't have time to help them then, but you can come back later and find all the chickens.
Yeah, so like that's often, you can use that as foreshadowing to sort of indicate that. And sort of, there's a bunch of interesting things you can do with that. So one aspect is that you use that as foreshadowing, like, oh, like I need to figure out how to solve that. One of the most prolifically memorable games that did this was Metroid, because there would be a door and you literally could not reach the door. How do you get in the door? It's like behind this like little tunnel thing, right? Like there's a door there, I can't fit there, how am I going to do it? So you go off in the other place, you explore around, then you get this power, let's turn into a morph ball and you roll under it, right? And you're like, as soon as you get the morph ball, you're like, I know what to do with this. There's this moment, this aha, and like, that's the key to a good puzzle.
Right.
You know what you have this aha moment, not the odd, like when you figure it out, you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So using characters' narrative and dialogue as a way of foreshadowing, that's a really cool aspect. Another aspect of design is using that, and it seems like it's difficult, it seems like it's impossible, but it really just requires a certain level of skill or a certain aspect, which is actually the same thing, except the barrier isn't physically not being able to do it. The barrier is you understanding what it takes to do it. But the idea is the same, in that yes, you can use aspects of the world to hint to the player, and that's what you always want to do. Yeah, there are countless examples in various games. So basically, anytime you're working on a puzzle, there are going to be the resources around you, whether that's other characters, whether that's items, whether that's other locations. You just have to figure it out.
And are some of those puzzles going to go away if we don't answer them immediately, or are they all the kind of things that you could potentially return to?
It's going to depend. Every time you take actions in the game, that's going to progress the game in some amount. Like, we don't have this idea of like a day-night cycle, but we have the idea of time passing. And so if there's a problem and you decide not to solve it at that time, you can go off and do other things, and eventually you might interact with things that cut that idea off. So that's really going to depend on the sort of how we're building the content and how strict certain things are. It's not going to be like, oh, if you don't do this within 3 narrative actions that it will cut off. It'll be like, eventually you're going to do something that means that doesn't make sense anymore. And it'll generally be something tied within the narrative of that, because that's how all of our variables are going to be connected when writing out the exact storyline segments.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah. Is there a question that came up, Kaz?
Yeah.
What you got?
There's a question for you.
Awesome, I'm here, so I can answer
It's
it.
so exciting.
The question is, Austin, I'm sure this has been asked and covered multiple times. This is by Rafa Levels Up 1,000 times. But what programming tools / languages are you planning on using?
So I'm using C# for the majority of the project. I write in C#. It's a language that Unity reads and can compile with. Because we have, like, it really depends on the project. We might write some stuff in C++ if we work with some external tools. And oh my god, that's pizza. That is pizza.
Pizza.
That was ordered for us.
Fuzzyski, thank you so much.
Fuzzyski, you are right now my best friend.
Oh my
I'm gonna open
God.
this window because it's getting kind of warm in here.
Are we allowed to eat? Oh, well,
I think we should eat.
See you later,
Okay.
Iron Mouse. Thanks
All right,
for
I'm
Iron
gonna
Mouse.
Take care, Armos. Thank you for joining. I'm gonna finish this question, and then we're gonna eat some pizza.
Oh my god.
And then we'll answer
questions
more
too, though.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna finish this one while they set up the pizza one because this is my question and answer. So yeah, the primary tool we're using is Unity. It is a game engine that takes care of a lot of the base level stuff, such as like interacting with different graphics cards across multiple platforms, setting up basic physics, building a UI for us to interact with it. And I will be using C# to write all the code to enhance that and to actually build our gameplay.
Hey, Austin.
What's up?
Do we have other programmers on the project?
We do have other programmers that use different tools. So Miles is doing a lot of support of building a lot of the sort of like black box systems. For example, in the game you'll see enemies firing different weapon patterns. That is stuff code that Miles wrote. He wrote that in ActionScript. So what we did was he took his ActionScript code and integrated it with C# and Unity. I rewrote aspects of it in C#. There are some other paths that we can go through. He also uses a tool, a language called Hacks, which I'm familiar with. I wrote another game in that. And Hacks can compile down to C#. It's not necessarily the most elegant or efficient way of doing it, so we might rewrite that code, but it'll all depend on what aspects of it we're writing. Also, Don's a programmer. He was an enterprise programmer for 13 years, and knows more languages than any like group of humans.
I know 53.
That's a lot.
Functionally.
I can't name 53 languages. So
none of them are like white space or poop. Poop's a language.
Okay.
Yeah, white space is also a language.
So we have quite a lot of programming background. Well, the main other primary language that we will be using if we make those console stretch goals is we will be writing stuff in C++ to directly integrate with the SDKs to give us features that aren't necessarily built into Unity.
All right, so check it out. Let's examine this pizza.
All right, we're doing the unveiling.
So we've got 2 pizzas, or 2 boxes. Let's see what's in the 2 boxes. I don't want to assume 2 pizzas.
Yeah.
We've got a bacon, pepperoni, and mushroom pizza.
Very nice.
Oh yes,
I'm
it's
excited.
incredible.
It's gonna be
It smells so good.
so cool.
We've got as well. Look at this. A cheese pizza for She's Pizza. It's the best.
So good. It's so good.
This is so amazing. Thank you so much. This is. Look, I do this thing. I'm 35, so I kind of have a different view than a lot of younger folk that I interface with. I actually communicate a lot through food. I know it sounds really weird, but the idea of being able to give somebody like sustenance to live off of is a giant thing. You'll notice that when we go out, I sometimes buy food. That I'm making a gesture. I'm letting you live. I'm not letting you live. I'm offering you a gesture of continued sustenance and existence. That I can somehow invest in, right? That's what Faziski just did for us right now.
Faziski has enabled us to live.
You've invested in further life from us that we might program an awesome game for you, and that's incredible. That's another plate for Kaz.
Yes.
Do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good. I will go forkless.
Oh man.
But we do have another question.
Let's answer the question.
From Eclipse Husky. It has been stated there would be a sort of hub world that you hang out and such. Will you be able to buy things that are specials, say a weapon for the Star Wolf that only the cat people make, and sell somewhere other than the hub area? Since I forgot the race species name.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, one of the cool things about the way the game is built, like a lot of that was discussed in one of our previous episodes of Starr Mazer TV, which you can watch if you go to Starr Mazer on YouTube.
Yeah.
The guts and bucks system. But one of the really cool aspects of how we're implementing the sort of narrative of the world, which also gives us how we're implementing shops and all character interactions, is that characters are all individually based. We don't have a system that guides the narrative. We have characters that guide their own perspectives, their own world, their own responses to issues. So when you open up a shop, it's not like we made some like generic shop thing that all shops are tied to. You're speaking with that character, and you're going to buy something through that.
Right.
So what this results in is this your entry? Is this all right? Boom. She's Pizza has arrived.
Well, somebody ordered some cheese pizza for She's Pizza, so She's Pizza thought she would come and enjoy the fun. Starr Mazer sounds like a fun game guy.
So we have a guest celebrity here.
Yeah,
She's Pizza.
Her name is She's Pizza. She's a piece of pizza. She's from a race of pieces of pizza. She's very attractive, and we're gonna do something kind of weird in that we're gonna feed her pizza.
I'm so excited. This is awesome. Thank you guys so much for inviting
Oh, that's
me.
not the pizza you would eat.
Well, I mean, that's not the pizza Vanessa would eat, but
Yeah.
Cheese Pizza loves cheese pizza.
Your eagerness to eat your own. That's cannibalism right there.
That's the best. I love
What are
it.
you talking about?
How's your cannibalism taste?
What are you talking about?
Kaz, would you like pizza?
Yes,
I was
please.
doing pizza.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me
Yeah,
to
just-
partake in meal.
We were about
Just
one.
enjoy. No, don't worry about it. Just enjoy that pizza.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so good. Pizza, guys, is the best everywhere.
So to to go back to before pizza.
This
Yeah.
is the best thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
So
Mrs.
cool.
Each character has their own sort of way of interacting with characters. They have their own values for items. Some characters, and they have their own values to you, to Brick. And so when you go to someone and you decide to buy something from them or sell something to them, it's going to be based on what they find valuable, what they find rare, what they find common, and what they think of you.
Yeah.
So your actions will influence prices in the world. If you bring an item that's very common in one area of the world, buy it super cheap, go bring it off to some space station where no one can get it, you're going to be able to turn a profit.
Drug wars.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way the world works.
Do we have more questions? It looks like there are more questions.
I'm looking for them right now. Oh yeah. Obviously asked the one before. There was a question about whether or not, or why is the 3DS goal so high, but the commenters answered it saying that we would have to, in fact, rewrite the whole game.
It's very true.
Thank you very much for answering.
Thank you very much for understanding that. If we're up to me, man, this game would come immediately to the 3DS. It's not a choice. It's that we just need time, and we want to do it internally so it's right, so we're not just going to hire some crazy team to do it. So a scope and time is really the reason the 3DS is more complicated. Yeah, Kaz.
So Tanzana writes, what is your favorite location or planned location in the game?
I have to say, honestly, straight off the top of my head, is the Holloway Exeter. I spent 9 years developing the Holloway Exeter. It's a beautiful place. I love it.
Cool place. Pizza likes it.
Wait.
Pizza hangs there.
What about you, Kaz? Or Austin? Sorry,
Austin.
Kaz's hand up. So
Actually, I don't even know if this area has been named yet, but if you watch the trailer, there's an area where the Star Wolf flies through this complicated path, and actually I've seen pieces of it, because I had to build all those aspects of it and bring it into the game. And actually, if you take out the tunnel, it's this amazing, expansive technological environment. That is my favorite. I've literally just stared at it looping for 5 minutes. I don't know the full scope of all of that area yet because I have not gotten all the details on it. But that is my current favorite area in the game. I could just fly there for hours.
new question.
So, this is a question for Cheese Pizza by Modern Nosferatu.
Oh.
Can you tell us about how the various pizzas you've interacted with throughout your life influenced your writing, and particularly in regards to Starr Mazer?
Oh, well, I've interacted with all kinds of pizza. When I was a kid, my favorite pizza was pepperoni and black olive, but now it's got jalapenos on it, and diced tomatoes, and green peppers. But I don't know. I don't do as much writing. That's more Vanessa. I'm just pizza. So I'm just part of a pizza culture. I need this. I'm sorry, but we're all part of one beautiful species. We don't really individualize in that way. I mean, there's different kinds of pizza for sure, but we'll kind of work together and bring fun and joy.
And cool times.
And cool times.
And chiptunes.
And
And
chiptunes.
chiptunes.
And chiptunes. I'm really good friends with Alex Maurer.
Together, you guys are chiptunes.
Together, we make chiptunes.
Chiptunes is hanging out in pizza. That's what chiptunes is.
I'm also a huge fan of the Book It program. I don't know if it's still enacted, but
You're too young. You don't know what the book program is.
oh,
I have no idea what the booking program
Oh,
is.
let me tell you about the Book It program. So in the 90s, if you read a certain number of books, I think usually during summer vacation, that's whenever I saw the Book It program, you got this little badge, and they'd put different stars on a button on the thing for each book that you read, and when you achieved a certain number, you got a free personal-sized pan pizza from Pizza Hut.
That's pretty great.
Yeah,
Book It.
It was so good.
It.
I remember
Book It.
that.
Yeah.
It encouraged kids to read and eat pizza.
There's no more questions.
No
Other
more
than
Modern Nosferatu Book It program represent. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Photo Cool is apparently
Photo
1
Cool.
hour within Christina's time.
Oh, cool. So Photo Cool is probably in Paris.
Guess. Go. Did we?
I think
did
Paris.
know?
I think France. Somewhere in France. I'm guessing Paris.
You're just saying that because they have photo and cool in their name. You're
Maybe.
like French.
Actually, shout out to Photo Cool, one of our most active commenters on the Kickstarter page.
Every other comment is Photo Cool.
To the point of that, like, now we're competing with Photo Cool to get as many comments.
Oh.
We're losing.
Yeah, he says,
France got it.
Also,
Nailed it.
There's another question from Raphael Levels Up. Rafa Levels Up. Favorite pizza? Domino's, Pizza Hut, Papa John's, random New York pizza place? Question mark.
Is that a question for She's Pizza or for the group?
Probably the group, I think.
I'll start.
Okay.
I would start with random New York pizza place, or random New York styled pizza place around the United States. And I would second back if I had to pick a franchise. At this point in time, it'd be Domino's. It used to be Little Caesars, but something changed in that stuff. It's not pizza anymore. It's
I know,
weird.
they've gone dark.
It's $6.99.
They lost their pizza spirit.
They stopped being pizza and started just being like cheap, like whatever that is.
Well, pizzas go through hard times too, Don.
I understand, but I'm talking about a pizza manufacturer, not pizzas.
I guess so. They're not really representing pizza.
It's not their
appropriately.
fault.
Yeah.
Pizzas.
Glass
Gosh, don't hurt
broken
yourself.
soda.
Please don't hurt
I'm not gonna
yourself.
hurt myself. This soda just sucks.
Jesus, don't cut yourself, please.
As far as me, well, She's Pizza loves all pizza from all places and respects them in different ways. But I guess if you're talking about pizza's taste buds, pizza really likes Pizza Express in the UK. It's really good. It's super fresh. It's super nice. It's a good restaurant. It's a little bit more fancy. So for just fun, normal pizza times, Domino's. She's Pizza likes it a lot. But She's Pizza will eat pizza from anywhere.
I'd like to point out, I didn't realize we're getting explicit. My favorite actual pizza place locally is a place called Rocco's, which Austin introduced me to.
Which a friend of mine from Vancouver introduced me to.
It's incredible. It's my favorite pizza place, I think, in the city of Seattle. It's really great. We went to a place
in Seattle,
called
go there.
in Portland called, I think it was called like the New York Pizza.
Something.
Yeah, the most random name, but it was incredible.
I hear you took Vanessa there and she really enjoyed it.
I did take Vanessa there, and she really liked it. I was pining, in fact, though, for you. And then
So
we went
cool.
in San Antonio, Texas. We got a 42-inch pizza from Big Something's Pizza. Big Lou's Pizza, yeah. And
You
it
can see
was
a picture on the Twitter.
it was so good. It was shocking that a 42-inch pizza could be that good. I thought it'd just be like a kitschy thing, but it was really incredible pizza. But I think around here in Seattle, Rocco's is my jam. If any of you guys are in Seattle, we'll go to Rocco's together. Have a great time. It's expensive, but it's really good.
I know Brian Lewis was very concerned that you were actually eating She's Pizza at Big Lou's,
Oh,
but you
yeah.
were not
No, I
eating
wasn't.
She's Pizza.
No.
She's Pizza's day will come one day. But right now, She's Pizza is still enjoying living amongst the people and totally supports whoever was donated for the 42-incher. I think that's awesome. That's so cool. What a great way to enjoy pizza.
Can I have one of those boxes?
Mhm.
I like the meaty box, maybe.
My favorite pizza is Red Baron. It's like, if you get on sale, it's like $3 for a pizza, and it's so freaking good. Just frozen pizza. It's so good. Best
Really?
sauce.
So cool.
It's amazing.
So we have to try the Red Baron pizza. I've never had that.
They're not on sale right now. They cost $6, so you gotta wait.
So it's terrible.
No,
Can't get
it's
it.
still better than most pizzas. But I don't want to pay $6 for a pizza.
Christina would like to bring up into discussion what we're talking about in the chat and comments, which is those eggs that used to have toys in them.
Kinder eggs.
Kinder eggs.
And how they are no longer available.
What?
Like in America, due to choking hazards.
Oh.
That's
are
stupid.
they?
That's a dumb thing.
That's silly.
You should be able to teach a kid not to eat a toy.
Yeah. That's weird.
No,
Is that why we
that's
don't have
ridiculous.
like Cracker Jack toys?
I hope not. Is
Because
it?
I'm sad
Cracker
about
Jacks in the United
Cracker
States,
Jacks.
they're just now like little piece of cardboard.
Yeah, it's just
Stickers
fun
and-
facts, but it's the same fact about George Washington over and over and over again. It's
Fun
really unfortunate. And like stickers that aren't stickers.
No.
I'm highly disappointed. They have lost their sense of fun.
All right.
Cheese Pizza is gonna go away now. It was nice seeing you guys. Thanks for hanging out and having pizza with Cheese Pizza.
Thanks, Cheese Pizza. You're
Thanks,
so
Cheese
cool.
Pizza. You're the coolest.
See you later, guys.
I wish Cheese Pizza could just like high five the camera and just poop and just gone. just bam.
Just disappear. That was incredible.
High five teleportation.
We just got visited by Cheese Pizza.
And I've never. That was my first time meeting Cheese Pizza. I was really nervous. I didn't. Did I maintain my cool?
Yeah.
Did I? All right.
I could see it in your eyes that
Okay.
you kind of wanted some pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all do.
We always want pizza.
Fuzzy, thank you again. This is an incredible.
Thank you so
incredible
much
thing.
for your pizza pledge. Yes, it's amazing. We got. Wow. This is such a good day.
Vanessa, the pizza showed up.
What, really?
We have pizza now. You can have some.
Oh, cool.
Do you want
I
some
know.
pizza?
I would love some pizza.
Here.
Did they
We had
get...
a cheese pizza and a meaty pizza.
I'll have some cheese.
There you go.
Because I'm veggie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you
Yeah.
again to...
Fuzzy.
That's awesome. I'm so excited. Did any writing questions come up while I was gone? Or
No.
Okay.
We were just
cool.
mostly eating and talking about pizza.
Cool. Okay.
So speaking of which, last we left off, we wanted to see where the stream wanted to go. If we want to talk about more narrative stuff or go to the goals and the tiers.
Our pizza party is coming to a brief, a quick end. We should talk instead about
Starr Mazer.
Starr Mazer. So stream, do we want to talk about the stretch goals and the reward tiers, or do we want to talk more about story? Keeping in mind that we can talk about story for the next year once it's funded. So I might want to imply that we should perhaps talk more about stretch goals and reward tiers.
I'm reading all that.
Somebody had just noted that they were really interested in an art book. This is something we've heard a few times now.
Well, I can at least talk a little bit about like what one of the backer tiers will get you.
We got a digital one, right? Like,
Yeah, but it's not like we might have caused some confusion with that. So let me explain a little bit. Because like for the $50 tier or $40 early bird, you will get both a digital soundtrack and a concept book. This concept book, yes, it does have art in it. It will have art from the game, both finished art and concept art. But it's more than that. It's going to have the entire game's concept in there. So we're going to see like early design notes. We're going to see like scratch like to-do lists and whatnot, like my programming notes in there. We're going to see versions and excuse me, sorry, I'm drinking soda, so I'm burping a lot. Versions and iterations of the story and narrative. So one of the episodes that you play, it'll be a finished version, but you might get to see like, you know, what were some of the earlier like lines and dialogues and how we change it, how we get to there. So it's not just concept art, it is concept of like the whole development of the game. It is a digital like process book of like the things that we made, and you can see how we shaped everything into it. Like I just thought of a neat thing that we might be able to do. Because it is digital, so we're not limited to pages.
Yeah, right.
We're going to be iterating with lots of like mechanics and plays of the game. It would be interesting to include some like the older versions that like we don't necessarily use in the game. Like old versions of like control mechanics or whatnot. So that's an idea that came up on the spot. I won't commit to that because we'll have to figure out the implementation of it.
But the concept though is the same. It's a digital concept exploration.
Yeah.
It's not just an art book. It's not just like
that is in there. That is fully included. You'll
The
get
art will
what
be
you
in there.
expect from the an art book, but it's all of the concept through developing the game.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me what you think about that idea. If you'd like to play like either sub mechanics or like old iterations, old tests. So basically including like not full prototype builds, but like, you know, prototype like pieces of
Chunks,
the game.
yeah.
Yeah. I would be interested in including that. I don't know if that's like, they won't feel good. It'll be bad. That's why it's not in the game. But I don't know if that's a thing that people want to check out. So let me know.
There was one vote for story.
Oh. All right. We got to vote for story. We'll at least let's go on that for a little while.
But I also saw stretch goals would be fine. So that's
Oh, now we're tied.
yeah, we're tied.
We need someone to break this tie of what we're going to discuss.
So, Faziski, this says, just let me know what day. I'm currently working from home, so I'm free to travel. What day for what?
Oh, I was talking to him earlier.
Okay.
He's having a private convo with
Yes.
Oz.
Oh.
He said he would be willing to help out with us when we do the Reddit
glitch
AMA.
Oh, awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, we've been trying to set that up for a while.
But none of us are like super Reddit folk.
Yeah.
At least I'm not.
I'm a little Reddit.
A little Reddit.
I'm a lurker.
Yeah.
I'm a 35-year-old. I have no fucking clue.
I have read posts made by like 70-year-old people. No excuse.
Edge cases don't have to count.
Oh,
Austin.
another vote for goals.
Right.
Two votes for. I guess we're doing gold, guys. Eclipse Husky says could be a sort of glitch world, Austin.
That's a whole nother idea that would fit just perfectly in the Broth Divide.
Oh yeah, a world that exposes the actual rigging of the game. That seems kind of cool.
Yeah, like what is it? Like Fez had that glitch world
Yeah.
area, which is
Yeah.
had the coolest music in the game. My favorite scene in all of Fez is probably that area. So that's interesting. Yes.
So Fazishi says something really interesting. He says, so as a stretch goal, I think being able to record your own sounds for the game would be pretty awesome. Now, yesterday he actually pitched something completely different. Not completely different. A different scope.
Yeah.
Which was when you start the game, you record a screaming sound. Right?
Yeah.
Which gets assigned to one of the boss characters you destroy. You know, they always have that sort of in shmup games.
Oh,
they
yeah,
always
yeah,
have, "Ooh-ah!" or whatever. That was what he pitched yesterday. I like that idea. I think recording your entire voice for the entire thing seems a bit rough, considering there's going to be thousands, probably tens of thousands of voice lines.
Well, I wonder, because the full-on implementation of it would be, well, all we do is we just expose all the audio files in the game's folder structure, and then you do what you will with them. That was something that Final Fantasy XI did.
Right.
The bad side of that is that means they're not compressed.
Oh.
And
The
so
delivery is going to be a pain in the ass.
exactly, yeah, the game, the install size of the game will just multiply.
Yeah.
Because they're not in any sort of compressed format.
So maybe there's a race, or maybe there's there's something that you voice and it's very explicit, but it's contained.
Yeah.
But you can totally voice it.
You know what would be easier actually is to it might be easier would be to have this sort of system where there are points in the game in which you could record something, and there's an interface and you click it and then your microphone's attached and you put whatever sound you want in, and then the game knows to use that at certain points. That would be feasible, I think. I mean, as a stretch goal, definitely some additional
I was
stuff.
trying to think if there was something a little bit less crazy than that. There were
much power.
15 tiers at this monetary level, 500 or 600 or whatever, and we would record those people.
Oh, you're talking about implementing that into the game.
Right.
Okay.
Rather than having you start up and you record a voice.
Yeah.
Because I like the boss one, but I'm not sure about the other one. I think that would be more work than it's worth, and I mean by worth as in enjoyment on the audience end, on the player end. So I'm just wondering if maybe as a specific goal that might be a better way of looking at it.
So I guess there's two ways to approach this, and I'd like to know your guys' opinion. The concepts are for this sort of custom sound thing is a stretch goal in which we add a feature to the game that would allow you to record something and have that affect the game world in some way. That's to be determined. I mean, one of the ones that were suggested were making a noise for explosions, but it could be all sorts of things. We'd figure out what the implementation of. The alternate would be to add a tier, like a backer tier, a limited backer tier, in which case, by backing that, you will help us record something to input in the game, which is, I think, what you were describing.
Right.
Yeah. So those are possibly two different ways to achieve the thing that I think Faziski is talking about a little bit. So let me know what you guys think about those two ideas.
Do we want to pitch the stretch goals that we've already
That's kind of
got?
cool. Rewards here to leave voicemails for the characters. So Brick comes back to his swinging pad or whatever.
After 100 years, and he's got 15 messages.
You can play through the messages. That would be incredible.
I actually I like that. That reminds me of how in Shovel Knight they did the Hall of Champions, right? And so you'd see everyone's pixel portraits and whatnot. The idea of voicemails is like, you know, you go back into your show and there's like 100 of them, and it's just people's recordings of almost whatever, right? You know, ESRB rating pending.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
I like that a lot.
Tell us what you think about that. That's a cool, because that's just a tier we could put in like tomorrow if everyone's excited about it. This idea that if you back at a certain level, you get to record a voicemail left for Brick during the 130 years that he's in cryosleep. So your voice gets put in the game. Oh yeah, absolutely limited. But
it could be a thing where you could just listen. If there's 200 of them, you could just sit there and listen to them.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them.
Crazy.
And there's another really cool one. What about a tier where you get Christina Antoinette Neofotistu? Did I say it right? Christina, don't kill me. I'm trying so hard. To illustrate a pixelated portrait of yourself. Please. Damn, A.M. Stevens. That's a really cool idea too. Like, have, you know, maybe 5 or 10 characters where you get yourself illustrated. Or I don't know what the scope would. I don't know what the work would be.
Yeah.
But
I mean, our current implementation of that is if you back at the Star Citizen level, you can put an NPC in the game, and that can just be you if you want that to be you. It cannot be a character that you created, like a character you have an idea for. It could be your buddy, you know, maybe a birthday gift, whatever.
So that already kind of exists.
There's a level of that. I think this is talking about a smaller scope because it's just like a portrait. It's not an animated character.
Yeah.
Those still take a lot of time to make.
Yeah.
Actually, a little anecdote. I want to tell this little story. I was talking with some people working on planetary annihilation. People at Uber just at this event yesterday. They didn't put any limits on any of their tiers, and one of the things you could do was have a custom like robot unit in the game. They got like 100 and something of those, like that people backed at that. It takes them 2 weeks to make one of those at complete optimization. So it's going to take them 2 years working non-stop before all of those get into the game.
Wow.
So one of the things they said is that like it's good that you have limits on certain things so we can actually deliver a thing in a timely manner.
So what they're suggesting is exactly more like an avatar for your social network accounts. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping over.
Okay, so separate from the game.
Just like a thing delivered in Starr Mazer style. You'd have to have the Starr Mazer like outfit or whatever. Kaiser, you have your hand up. What's up, sir?
Yeah. So back in 644, Rafa Levels Up said, "Random thought. I'd love somehow to read side stories, perhaps of characters that disappear thanks to your actions throughout the game."
That's pretty neat. I don't know, like, I can see that being just a fun thing we incorporate in the game, though, rather than a stretch goal. Like,
it seems just like a feature that we'd like.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how we would implement that otherwise. Like, I think that would be just a cool thing to think about doing. Just, like, you finish the game, what happened to all these people that, like, you did or didn't interact with? Or maybe you were supposed to interact with and you didn't. Let's see.
LaserKid also has another comment in terms of goals. Since we're talking about sounds, how about a stretch goal for sound test, for music, and sound effects?
Oh, like in the options menu.
I think that should not be a stretch goal, honestly. That should be something we give you.
Yeah, alright, done. Stretch goal achieved. It's
unlocked, but boom! What's the, do you ever get brown fingers question?
Do you ever get... Alright, pointy guy. We're going to have to point out what this means to us. Do you ever get brown... Maybe it's a different conversation.
I think it's a different conversation.
Yeah. We'll find out soon.
Brown fingers.
Do you ever get... I mean...
I feel like this is really wrong. I don't really want us to explore this line of conversation.
Alright, we're going to skip that one for now. We'll table that.
Is there any, like... I've been wondering, because I've seen a couple of other Kickstarters that are running alongside ours, how invested people are into physical rewards. Do people even like them anymore? Do you actually want things like t-shirts? We already have a poster, and we have a really cool box art, which is or box set with a it's like a credit card sized Hue style card, and it has like a pop-out USB with the game on it. That's what I backed at, because I wanted the physical box. I wanted the physical game.
All right, so you're gonna get a physical box, like a cardboard box, and the cardboard box is gonna be like an old TurboGrafx style cardboard box. This is not it. This is a jewel case. But then you get a jewel case, right? So this is what your jewel case looks like. You'll have a sticker on the back with Viking Gear 99 Super System. It's gonna have all the kind of the trimmings that a jewel case gets. It's gonna say V card like it does in the commercial, whatever. You open it up. You have a manual, printed manual. This is for the physical reward tier. You get a printed manual and a specially bucked hue card insert for your jewel case with an actual hue card in a traditional, actually manufactured correctly, floppy style rubber case, which is really good, silicone case, and then the hue card itself. It's not going to be a hue card; it's going to be a V card, which is the Viking 99 Super System card. But it's going to have a USB extender, so you actually take it and slide out the USB and plug it into your computer to load the game. So the game comes looking like an old TurboGrafx 16 hue card, but is in fact a USB drive. Goes back into your awesome rubberized silicone case, back into your jewel case with a, like I said, with a, I think we said what, 19-page manual with cover?
20-page manual. Yeah.
20-page manual with cover, and then back into your jewel case, back into an awesome box, which you can see the art for. We gave away a bunch of posters at PAX with the art. You can see the art on our press kit. It looks pretty cool.
But that's in the trailer.
And in the trailer. But that's what you're getting.
So and I backed for that at the $80 level because I love physical objects. I'm just wondering if there is any other physical objects that that's something like not completely unfeasible. Like we were already doing the little model of the Star Wolf. Is that the $200 level?
I think it's
$300 level. I apologize.
Right.
No, Star Wolf's at 200.
200, yeah. So that's a model of the Star Wolf.
Yeah.
At 2.
So I'm wondering if there's anything else people would really would like, or it would really drive them to, maybe suggestions you guys might have that would drive more people to our campaign or pitch more money in for objects. I've seen people do stickers. I've seen people do other things, and I was just curious as to whether, I mean, we have these, I love these thought-driven rewards. Like I love like the characters and that's really, really cool. And I was just wondering anything really else that people would like to see.
So that's a good question. I think we should also go through our existing ideas of stretch goals and pitch those out and see what they think. Can we do a thing, Kaz? How easy is it to get that camera off that tripod?
Not hard.
I want to do a thing for.
I mean, granted, I got a pretty limited range of motion.
I just need you to turn around. Raffle Vel's up. That you're right. That is a Mega Man blaster in the background, but I'd like to show you something else. What we're looking at right now.
We're gonna be moving.
Yeah, we're gonna move for a sec. Okay, turn her. Face that wall.
It's Cloverfield.
Show them the wall.
Oh.
Show them. Back up. Show them the whole wall.
Of the vinyl stickers.
Up. What are we seeing? That is a Mega Man vinyl wall. Go to the left there. That's a whole wall of Mega Man love. Cool, man. You can set it back down. I just wanted to show it off.
Yeah, we've got some Mega Man fans here.
Yeah, we are definitely Mega Man fans.
And we are coming back to reality.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see here. Oh, nice.
Nice. So we share the same thing.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Epicness. Yeah, there's a Mega Man blanket.
Yeah. We love the Mega Man.
We are still here.
Mega Man 1. No, yeah. Well, who do we have working on our game music?
Oh yes.
Manami Matsumai.
Matsumai-san did the original music and sound design for Mega Man 1. So having her on board is incredible.
Kaz is secretly a
Kaz
TV.
is secretly a TV.
True.
You figured it out.
You figured it out. The cover's blown. So yeah, one of the things in there was a Mazer blaster tier.
A Mazer pistol tier.
Yeah, and then said figurines are all.
We have to hold full stop. Christina has pointed out that our vinyls are placed at sub-pixel increments.
Of course they are.
Of course, it's the real world. I can't. I don't have the grid. Of course they are. I'm sorry.
No, you're not hardcore enough, Don. You should have drawn that pixel grid and placed them on. Christina would have done that.
Jesus, look at all that banding. There's banding everywhere.
There's so much banding.
Christina is more devoted to the art, the art of pixels than anyone I have ever met in my entire
incredible.
life.
It's
She has
really
introduced
cool.
me to things that I never even considered about pixel art. If you ever want to know anything about real pixel art, just ask her on Twitter. She'll talk for days because she actually knows it. She understands it to a deep level.
Yeah, it's not just like deforming some art to look pixely.
Yeah.
She crafts things with pixels. Every pixel counts, and it's incredible.
It's like an architect, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of calculations that go into physically building a building. Like,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
have to be done right, or the building doesn't uphold. That's the level of that Christina brings into her work.
I'm not reading that aloud. Don explode.
Christina, I did my best. I'm sorry. I just put the vinyls on the wall like a normal human being. I apologize.
You had an
I
opportunity.
had to do something brilliant. I failed it.
You failed it.
I ruined it.
So anyway, why don't Donnie talk about some of the plans and suggestions? Let's get some feedback on that.
Yeah.
Do we have our list of plans?
Or was it on? Did you write it on this? Is that
No.
what that was?
No.
You were so implying that you had everything ready.
No, I was implying that we should do it.
I know some of the things that we have discussed.
Yeah, we have a spreadsheet, don't we?
No.
We have something.
Then you have a spreadsheet. I don't know. I know some of the things that you guys have been talking about, so I can talk about those things if you want me to bring those up.
We have our stretch goal list.
Oh, the stretch goals.
That's what we're talking about, right?
I thought you were talking about different backer tiers and
Oh,
different
no, we were
options.
making those up because we thought we had the perfect backer tiers. We were being told by a bunch of people that we were missing
don't have
backer
enough,
tiers.
yeah.
We thought we didn't want to like overdo the backer tiers. But as far as stretch goals, we've had a plan from the beginning.
Yeah.
Don't make it sound like we don't have a plan.
No. Okay, I thought you were talking about additional backer tiers that
yeah.
we don't have right now. I thought our discussion is stretch goals.
Stretch goals.
All right, then
Stretch goals.
yes, we have the stretch goals.
Where are they?
I have them in my head, but they're also on a computer or a
Do you have
list.
them memorized fully?
Don't have the exact numbers. I
Okay.
need to go get my computer.
If you wouldn't mind.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get the
Austin
list.
will be right back.
Christina says blaster gun design totally doable on my end. Wow. What would people want? in
Yeah,
a blaster
is
gun?
it like a toy blaster gun? Is it like a full size replica?
Is it a sticker? Is it a foam piece?
Because we do have
Is it
stickers
a-
already. In fact, I think Austin might show up randomly with one of the stickers. They exist. We already did them. And I illegally handed one out at PAX South. Illegally. I broke the rules.
We don't need any plans.
Yeah, these
Thank
dope
you, Steve
stickers.
Tusky. I mean, is this something that would be something that'd be cool that people might want?
So, Fool to Dream says a replica. So, Fool to Dream, that's... what we're trying to do is raise money to make a game. Stretch goals serve two purposes, and this is something that people... I don't know that many Kickstarters are actually super honest about this. Stretch goals have to cover development of the game as well as whatever the stretch goal item is. Developing an entire replica gun has a whole manufacturing process that we have to figure out. We figured out the Star Wolf thing only because we have a very, 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 very awesome set of people who have decided that they're actually going to get the mass 3D printed for us. But actually, getting to the manufacturing process of making like a replica toy, that's a giant process. And what we don't want to do is get into a place where we're toy manufacturers instead of game manufacturers, and that's kind of a difficult middle ground, you know?
I don't know what a perler is.
Huh?
Don't know how much they cost, but perlers are something people like.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure what a perler is either, so maybe you can explain what those are and we can go from there.
We can research partners.
You were researching our stretch goal plan. Let's go through the extant list of stretch goals.
All right, so we're gonna just deal with them all.
Yeah.
So the next stretch goal after 3DS is to have celebrity voice actors.
Yeah, so we have, we also run a film company, and the film company has a lot of celebrities that we've dealt with in other capacities who are all chomping at the bit, very much like the music people, to be voices in our game. If you want to do a little digging, some of them I've worked with before, so you can kind of do a little digging. But I'm not actually allowed to discuss anybody specifically because Hollywood contracts are a lot more like concrete than like music guys doing some music stuff for some people. So what ends up happening is I'm not allowed to announce until we have money and we can make stuff. But we do have a list of Hollywood celebrities that we'd like to include in the game. They're mostly genre or character actors because that's what's fun to listen to, right? As opposed to just like somebody's pretty face. But we absolutely have that. That's one of our the stretch goal after 3DS is getting some famous voices.
So perlers are like pixel-based beads.
Yeah, those. What are they?
I have some of those actually. Yeah,
cool.
those are awesome.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, those are
I would love
neat.
to build those and just
Nice,
bring them
nice.
to conventions. I've got a buddy who built a bunch of them. They're gorgeous.
AM Steven says, "Hey, you guys are almost at 100K. That's awesome.
Are you?
How close do you think? Because when we started this, we were at 91,
Yeah.
92. So let's have somebody check.
How much has it gone in like 2 hours?
I don't think it's probably much farther than 92.
But who knows? Maybe it's been crazy.
We're at 92,578. So
Sweet,
that's
yes.
exactly where we kind of thought we were. We still need $7,500 to
hit that
get to that
milestone.
milestone. If we can get to that milestone before Sunday, maybe you weren't here for this. Before Sunday night, everybody gets a remix album of the theme of Starr Mazer. Shit, can you fix this, Kyle? I
You just
touched
click
the thing.
the Chrome.
Touching things.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I ruined that. Anyway, so everybody gets a remix album, which is pretty cool. It's a digital remix album. We have other cool stuff if we get beyond that 100K, but we'll reveal that later tonight once we've had conversations with people who are working on supply stuff. But yeah, so there's that. So beyond the Nintendo 3DS stretch goal, which is 300,000, what is that set at currently?
The stretch goal for celebrity voice actors,
Yeah.
320.
So at 320, that will capture us 2 celebrity voice actors that we have on the docket that we really, really want to get. Beyond that, we can keep going from there. But celebrity voice actors is right after 3DS. We believe that having them on there will bring great value to the game, but they're a stretch goal because we also think we can make a very, very, very engaging experience if we don't have the opportunity to use them. But we'd like to, of course. So beyond that, we have...
The next one is the Starr Mazer short film.
Okay, so we're a film company, and we're chomping at the bit to do something. Starr Mazer, one of the questions earlier is, could we see more Starr Mazer in different media? That was one of the earliest questions in this Q&A. I would love it. One of our stretch goals includes a Starr Mazer short film, an actual live-action film that takes place in the world of Starr Mazer, including Brick, including Bunny, including all of the characters that you come to know and love. It would serve as a supplemental story. We would make it a parallel story that doesn't change the effect of the game, but will definitely enhance the experience. That's kind of making this game's a dream, making this film with the game as part of that dream. Expressing Starr Mazer across multimedia is definitely something we want to do. We feel we have the game thing on lockdown, and the music thing definitely on lockdown. Film is next for that convergence. So that's another the stretch goal after 3DS. We get to voice actors, and then we get to actual live action short film. What's after that?
The next one is season 2.
All right. So what's that set at?
That season 2 is set at 500,000.
At 500,000, if we get 500,000, we're gonna start on season 2. We're gonna figure out, like we said earlier, what the scope of season 1 is, lock it, and begin designing and developing on season 2. That stretch goal gets us building season 2. I do believe that we'll probably have to worry about sales of season 1 and distributor models and that sort of stuff. But it gives us enough time and money to scope out and start developing the sequel. And I don't mean the sequel in that like we're gonna abandon season 1. Season 1 is gonna maintain its own shape and flavor
And ship date.
And then season 2 will come after that. Season 1 is going to be fully supported for a long time after it's released. Season 2 will have to be markedly different. Internally we use the age-old comparison of Alien versus Aliens, right? Aliens is a different thing. Alien is a very complete experience. It's engaging and wonderful and artistic and brilliant and a standalone movie, and to some people it's their favorite movie on earth. Aliens, totally different film. It's got the same concepts. It's got the same drive. It's got the same characters in some cases, but the shape of the film is totally different. That was our motorcycle outside. But no,
Our motorcycle.
there was a motorcycle. Sorry, I was gonna say that was our neighbors or whatever. I couldn't assume that they were neighbors. But season 2 will be something like that. It will be a logical extension but growth of the original Starr Mazer, which you'll know to love. What's after that?
Our biggest stretch goal that we have marked is the TG16 remake.
Is that 750?
That's a 7.
At $750,000, we're going to do a TurboGrafx 16 remake. That means a a portable version. Not when I say portable, I mean a version that we've ported to a TurboGrafx 16 or / Turbo Duo. The trick with that is those are much smaller and less complicated systems, as we talked about earlier. So it will mostly be actiony and choose your own adventure, but it'll definitely play on your TurboGrafx 16, and be really cool and come on a HuCard.
I'll see how far I can push it.
Yeah.
I want to cram in as much as I can, but it'll be a different.
We're also, I mean, these numbers, $750 on a $160,000 ask. That's starting to get into dream territory. If we get there, we'll start considering bigger things. Like, for instance, the Turbo CD that can carry a lot more information and do a lot more processing. It seems like if we break that 750 and start getting into higher numbers, and we're already doing the programming, it might be cooler to deliver that on a disc as well. Like Bonk 3 came out on HuCard, and then also on CD, but the CD version had better music, had a little bit more graphical stuff in it because they could just store more on the CD. So it seems like that's something we could do. That's at $750. We've been throwing around the idea. This is a theoretical stretch goal of $1 million. Boom, $1 million. We would like to try to figure out how to build a USB pass-through in the shape of the Vikinger 99 Super System. But that's...
At that point, I think we can just make it like not a USB pass.
So like the
thing.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I want.
We'd have to research costs.
Yeah, we'd have to research costs. That's something we haven't been able to dig into because right now we're trying to make $160,000 for our development cycle.
We want to make a game.
So you've got some stretch goals that are very realistic and very achievable, and you've also got some pie in the sky stretch goals. That has been our stretch goal discussion thus far. What do you guys think?
But yeah, those are.
Laser Kid points out that the HuCard version could be a portable with the Turbo Express portable, which is totally right. I've got one actually right back there. It's one of my favorite systems. It was the first system that you could carry your cart from your home system along with you.
Really?
It took like 8 batteries though. It was incredibly difficult.
Lasts like 24 minutes.
24 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, actually, like just while we wait for some $500,000 worth of pizza.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
So, Fool to Dream, Raspberry Pi Vikings is definitely something that we would look at when we get to be around that much, because the point cost on a Viking on a Pi, especially the newer ones, is pretty small.
That's a much better idea.
So we could totally do that. Absolutely do that. Yes. We could also, at that point, we're making Starr Mazer. We have a little bit more modern stuff to play with. So yeah, we could definitely do that, and we'd love to. My dream would be to if you get the Vikinger 99, you'd have to put Starr Mazer, the USB card, into it. You don't have to necessarily expose the USB, but you have to put the card in to play it. That would be incredible.
That's what the Vikinger looks like.
Exactly.
It's got the slot for it, so you got to put it in. It's got the controller ports. Like
exactly.
It needs to be that, and it's got the kutung, like the physical switch and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we would love to do that, but yeah, Christine says at $2 million we'd have to be like triple fine. Triple Fine Entertainment.
Rename ourselves the show.
We're definitely looking to make our goal and to at least hit the stretch goals that let us get the consoles. That is super important.
That's why I put all the console stretch goals.
Yeah, exactly. We actually had these spread out, and we decided to take a little bit of a hit on the console stretch goals and compress the amount of time we'd have to work on them to fit all the console stretch goals first, because we want to get this game out legitimately and as quickly to all the media that we can get it to as quickly as possible. So hitting those stretch goals is 100% the way you're going to get the game on the 3DS. It's 100% the way you're going to get the game on your Xbox One and your PlayStation 4 and your Vita and your other thing we just got a dev kit for that we're not allowed to talk about, but all kinds of cool stuff. Hit the stretch goals. Yeah, hit the stretch goals for us. If we hit those stretch goals, that's you just basically saying, I want the game on the system that I want it on. We want to put it there, but again, we need to like survive. Mm-hmm. This pizza will last us 40 hours, like of eating time.
And sort of elaborate, I want to actually take a moment to talk about this, sort of why we ordered the stretch goals in the way we did. Because, yeah, we did have them spread out a lot more, but one of the things we didn't want is, like, sure, it would be awesome to have these amazing, like, voice actors in the game, but it would suck if that 3DS, like, didn't get that until after those voice actors, right? So we put it in that order. But additionally, like, we have 3DS at the bottom of that list and PS4 and Xbox One at the top. The reason why we did that was because we went from least amount of additional effort to most amount of additional effort. That's the order that they are in.
It's not preference. It's not alphabetical. It's only in the amount of additional effort beyond the original scope of the game that would cost us in time and money to actually port to those systems.
So that's why, like,
and we're being very conservative. We're gonna borrow a lot of time and money to hit those particular numbers.
Yeah. But that's why, like, the idea is that the PS4 and the Xbox One, like, because those are both similar consoles, like, they get a very similar experience. And but to put it on the Wii U, it's not that it takes physically, like, a ton more effort to get it onto the Wii U. It's just that the Wii U is a different system with different functionality. You want to take advantage of that. So that extra design time and the extra coding time does result in it being more effort to input it on that system than the others. And so that's why they're ordered in that way. If you were wondering why it's not a bias, well, the bias is the amount of work required for each console.
Yeah, the actual consoles themselves, I think each of us differently would probably lay out what order we would do them in.
Yeah, Don would put TurboGrafx first.
And Cue card first.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna wait for the 40 seconds it takes for you guys to catch up, unless you've completely decided to stop paying attention to us, which I totally get it, because
no, they love it. The list is perfect. There's no
problem. No. Switch 382 says, "Oh, Violet Lotus Man, hello again, guys."
Oh, hi, Switch.
So it turns out Auston Montville's name is an anagram for Violent Lotus Man, which is really cool.
Badass.
My name is is an anagram for Hack Rodent. So I'm not super into that.
What about Rodent Hack? That sounds
What
worse.
about Zangief?
Zangief works. I'll take Zangief over Hack Rodent.
I wonder what Vanessa's anagram is.
Somebody figure out Vanessa Williams. Vanessa Victoria Williams. What is that?
Man, 2 V's.
Anagrams into.
And a W.
And
so much potential.
Yeah.
So much pun potential.
What about Kazuo Maeda? That's cool. Maeda.
Let me spell out for them.
He's gonna put it in the chat.
So you can do anagrams.
Instead of figuring out stretch goals. So guys, I'm gonna have to cap this in 21 minutes. At 7:30 PST, we're gonna have to stop. We were originally gonna go to 7, but this has been very engaging, and we had pizza, which is very cool.
Thacker.
Oh, it's totally past 7. All right.
Yeah. So we've got 21 minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll get back to work. Mine is Mice Parade. Fuzzy, that's amazing. Mice Parade.
That's cool.
That's cool. I want to, like, this is the most whimsical image.
Mice Parade.
Yeah, right?
Welcome to the Mice Parade. Haha.
Oh.
Yeah. So we need to talk about stretch goals for 21 minutes, or we need to cut it off, guys, because we got work to do. We got to make you a game. We also have to figure out how to make more money in 2 days, because we have, by Sunday, by 11:59 p.m., we need to make $100,000, or we lose the opportunity to give everybody a cool remix album. Any pledge level, $1, $2.
And if you're curious what that remix album might look or might sound like, we already have a bunch of remixes that some of the musicians have contributed to on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, look at our YouTube channel or check out our updates wherein I'm calling them themixes, which is a term that I will make a real term. It's gonna be themixes. Don't look at her like I'm crazy. Themixes. So everyone say it with me. 3, 2, 1. Themix. Themix! Themix! No? I was wondering, for any basic backers, will there be a demo release or any way to access the game early other than the beta? Nope.
If you want to access that game early, you want to contribute and be part of the team, but that is why we have that beta tier.
We're not trying to be jerks, Switch 382. It's just what we can afford.
But it's not that much more than just the basic tier of getting the game.
Yeah, and also the basic tier of getting the game is 25% off of retail right now.
So for slightly more than retail, you can get beta access.
Yep. Switch 382, seriously, these remixes super badass. We have shown you some incredible remixes. We have some incredible remixes to show you.
I just like listen to them on loop.
Yeah, it's insanity.
It's so
we've got a big stack of them, and we're gonna be releasing them as we go. Every update I'm giving, I'm releasing one of them. So the more updates I've got, the more I'll release. And the best thing to update would be like, oh my God, we hit $100,000 on Saturday morning. That'd be great. I would update it, and everybody get a remix album, and then we'd hit way more money by Sunday. And by that point, it'd be super easy for me to to release the other prizes that we could get for having more money by Sunday night, it'd be really cool.
And also, just a shout out, if you're in the Northern California area, San Jose is having an event called Rockage this weekend, which is a subset of MagFest, where we're showing Starr Mazer off. And Daniel Cannon is there, one of our contributing artists. He is performing live sometime this weekend. I don't know the exact moment, but if you are anywhere near San Jose, you know, within a 12-hour drive, you might want to go check that out.
Yeah.
That's so
Switch
bad.
382, thank you for calling us not jerks. That's the best. We're definitely not trying to be jerks. We're also asked, are we going to be doing streams of actual game work? We are, and we do. We got actually not streaming. We got videos of us doing game work. Christina has released. We've released one video of her doing a crossover art for Children of Morta. I know that our crossover art for Hyperlight Drifter is going to come out in time lapse probably very soon. But you have to understand one thing, and this is very weird. Like I said earlier in this this episode, we're working on a game and on a Kickstarter, and a lot of our time has been devoted to making sure we could achieve the budget we need to make a game. The minute we hit that 160, we can start worrying full time about making a game, which I wish was totally different. I wish it was completely opposite. I wish we could just put a thing on the internet, disappear, and go build a game. Unfortunately, that's just not real. I think 4 years ago, that's how Kickstarter worked. Put a pretty picture, say, "Hi, I'm Don Thacker. I want to make a game. What do you think, guys?" And then $1 billion. But that's just not the case. You guys love this game. Every news site that we see loves the game. Every forum that we go to loves the game. Twitter follower upon Twitter follow upon Twitter follow up. Tumblr revine and like Tumblr times thousands. Everybody likes the game. We're not there yet. We haven't gotten our goal yet. That's not how things worked a year ago. It's not how things worked 2 years ago. Hyperlight Drifter is a great example. They asked for $27,000, got more than $600,000. It was with a video.
And it's an amazing game.
We're not dismissing the game in any way. We're partnered with them because it's incredible.
Yeah.
But all they needed was, look at our incredible game, and everybody jumped on board. But a bunch of people got burned by other people, not Hyperlight Drifter, but by other people not delivering or whatever else. Now we come to the board, and we have a game that the Hyperlight Drifter people say looks like an incredible game. Go to their update, their most recent update today. They said, this game looks incredible. We put our game out there the same way they did, and we're just slowly trucking along. The world is different, and what we need to do is keep working and pushing and pushing and pushing, and when we're pushing to get this game funded, we're not pushing to get the game made. Austin is stretched thin, doing everything he can to organize our update releases, to organize our our task management systems, and to do work on the game. He works on the game every single day. Vanessa does the same.
She writes it in.
Yeah, she writes all kinds of interview answers, all kinds of responses. Kazuo is constantly responding on the Facebook and the Twitters and all the social networking. I'm responding personally. If you see my name in a thing, that's me, man. I'm responding personally to comments and all the stuff. And that's not us making a game. That's us trying to get the budget to make the game. And then we're going to dig in. The minute you see that 160, we're making a game.
Right now we are full-time Kickstarter, part-time game development.
Right.
When we actually get funded, then we can do part-time Kickstarter, and then in the future part-time updates we'll have full-time game development.
When what the camera sees is what's actually happening. Right now we're having Starr Mazer TV. I am not going to lie to you. Starr Mazer TV is a way to get people engaged. And a way to get people to see that we actually know what we're doing.
If you guys are responding,
we
can actually communicate with you.
We can learn more and grow our games with you. Exactly.
It's amazing.
But would we rather today, on this date and time, if there was money in the bank, we would probably be reserving Starr Mazer TV to a scheduled time and be developing a game the whole time. And that camera would be pointing at us developing a game. And you could get those Starr Mazer TVs of us developing a game. If you want to see Starr Mazer TV of us actually behind the scenes developing a game 100% of the time, let's work hard to get us funded. When that happens, you'll see that. Kazuo's actual full-time job is to document our creation or failure at this game right now. So the minute we get funded, he's going to start pointing that camera at us making this game. So you'll see a lot of that. But we need to get away.
It seems like everyone gets it. Like that, I'm just reading the response, and everyone's like, "Oh no, this totally makes sense." They get it. Like, thank you. Like we appreciate that. That's something we talk about every day.
Bye, Laser Kid. Thanks for joining. You'll definitely see us at the next Starr Mazer TV. We're going to do a Starr Mazer TV of some capacity every single day for the rest of the Kickstarter campaign. Tell everybody you know. Try to get people on a Starr Mazer TV, because the more we talk about what we're doing, the more realistic it seems to people, the more they get the concepts, and the more our budget the closer our budget gets to being fulfilled, which allows us to make the game for you.
Yeah, we really appreciate like any outreach that you guys do, which I know you've been doing. Like Fudo Cool has said like that he's exasperated all of his social media talking to people. But honestly, like when it comes to your friends, they're gonna trust your word over ours.
Yeah.
If it's something that you're excited about and you want to make happen, you let your friends know. Like that's gonna be way more than unless we physically went up to your friends and like had the whole discussion with them. So
and you will have seen us doing all that. You'll know. You'll have been part of the experience.
You're part of it right now.
Right.
It seems we have a question.
Yeah, that's from a while back. Rafa Levels Up asks, what are the chances of incorporating pop culture cameos into the game as a stretch goal? DeLoreans, Marty McFly vests?
Go to the Hyperlight Drifter update. For today, just go to their. It's a public update. Just go to the Hyperlight Drifter Kickstarter campaign and look at the image that we put together for the announcement of Hyperlight Drifter crossing over with Starr Mazer. It's full of pop culture references. I loved Fallout. I loved Space Quest. I love that there's a constant influx of pop culture references. I love it. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it to the highest degree we can without getting sued into oblivion for licensing rights. So we'll do every single reference we can. That's how I live, man. I love that. That's how I tell stories. I'm constantly referencing things. Go see my movie Motivational Growth. It's just references. It's 90 to 104 minutes of references. That's yes, you're gonna get that. It's not the only thing. I got a really cool writer who's gonna write all kinds of neat extra stuff, but definitely.
There's some awesome comments in here. Raw Viking 9, yeah, the entire Elspeth sub TeamSpeak loved the soundtrack, art, and concept. I will definitely cheer the Kickstarter and do some advertisement for you guys.
Thank you so much, Raw. It's also the first time I've seen you. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to our
Starr Mazer TV. For a while,
yeah.
And then Switch says, "Oh, don't worry, bros. I've been dropping your name like the cheapest of hookers."
Boom, 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 boom. Drop them.
But we're gonna pay you well with an amazing game.
Boom.
But thank you so much. That's incredible. Yeah. I feel bad for hookers. What, like, does it hurt when you get dropped?
Workers.
Do they like scrape their butt? I'm worried.
Oh, physically dropping them.
I don't think he's discussing actually throwing people who,
like,
by the way, consensually chose to be in the situation.
Not throwing, but like dropping, not like chucking.
Let's not get too deep into this, because now I'm considering consensually chose to be in a situation, but we're forced to do so because of inequity, crazy stuff. That was a bad reference, dude. The hookers thing. Let's drop our name as though it were hot.
Like a potato.
As though we're a hot potato. Lots of hot potatoes.
Much better. Much better.
That's
no, it's really cool. Thank you very much, Switch. That's awesome. And then, let's see. Ha ha ha. We don't have anything further.
We were saying fun stuff, so there's lots of ha ha ha's.
So,
yeah, I mean we've discussed the stretch goals.
We got 10 minutes. We owe them the 10 minutes. I made it. I drew a line.
All right, 10 minutes. What are we gonna discuss in 10 minutes? Maybe like I mean I know what I'm gonna go work on as soon as after this. We can talk about it.
You know what's funny? What I'm gonna go work on is the Kickstarter, which is the worst. I would rather be working on the game. This poor one has been left to like write a whole bunch of stuff and say, "Is this Starr Mazer?" and have me go, kinda, maybe, change these 5 things. And then I go back and work on the Kickstarter. Because there's a lot that goes on. We have to do all the billing stuff and all the businessy crap. I own the business, so there's so much businessy crap going on. The minute you tell any government that you're going to try to get $160,000, business happens. So there's all kinds of business.
People want this art book, man. There's another one.
Art book. So are we, when you say art book, you're talking about physical art book. Like an udon style art book.
Like a big one?
It's gotta be.
How about this? I'm not talking out of turn. We've had the conversation. I am not saying, for the record, we're recording this. I'm saying, don't cut this bit out. We are in discussions. We have a merchandising agent that we're working out our potential merchandising, physical merchandise deal with, barring us getting the actual. I'm sorry, barring us missing the actual goal. If we get to our goal, We will have a merchandising agent. What that looks like is going to be very complicated. But one of the things that this person has offered is a physical art book. It's a real thing. We still have to talk to them and figure out what that costs. It's what you want. If you liked the Shovel Knight art book, it is very similar to that. What we're discussing, what we have not come to a conclusion on, and what we'd like to get to. We don't even know what we'd make it for a stretch goal, but we would like that. So get us funded.
That was like the discussion of a physical art book was one of the things like I brought up right away because like I freaking love that stuff.
Yeah.
Like just looking through the art, it's so wonderful. One of the things though that we considered with every physical reward was that whenever we decide to make a physical reward, there's a cost to that.
Yeah.
And that money is going into making that reward and not making that game.
Right.
So although our current estimates, we were able to get some very good deals on the physical rewards that we're offering, and so we were able to keep the scope of the cost of the actual whole production to a certain amount. If by adding like a physical art book, that now increases the cost of developing Starr Mazer because that needs to get produced or that takes time out of development, which makes the game of a lower quality.
Something else.
Those are the issues with it, and that's why we're working with someone to figure out those details.
Yeah, and when we know more, we'll let you know more. As I've said in every episode of Starr Mazer Television, all 4 of them, and this is like the 5th one. Or is it the 4th one?
It's the 4th. It keeps
every single
throwing money at the screen.
No, there's a thing there's a Kickstarter page. That's the best.
That's
place
where you
to
throw
put
the money. Yeah. So
yeah.
we have I've said every single time. I forgot what I said because I was laughing and reading it. I just read a cool comment that I want to point out. I'm going to jump back to my other idea in a second. Have you guys considered making a documentary / behind the scenes stretch goal? Okay, I'm going to reveal something on Starr Mazer TV. I'm just going to say it.
All right.
Spoils. It's not really spoils.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Imagos Softworks and Imagos Films are sister companies. The Imagos brands, right? You can see imagosfilms.com. You can see all of us, except for Austin, who's part of Softworks as a contractor through 2DX. But everyone else, Kazuo, Vanessa, myself, Josh, Mariah, we're all part of Imagos Films. That's another company. There are other people in Imagos Films that do film stuff that aren't part of Softworks, but we're a media storytelling company. I would like to not fail miserably at all if everything were to go horribly wrong. Right? Like, let's say we made $2 on our Kickstarter. We blew that away in the first day, but I hedged my bets. Kazuo here, this camera that I'm looking at, is making the documentary. We've been making the documentary since 2 weeks before we started the Kickstarter campaign, and we'll continue the documentary through the ultimate failure or success of either the campaign or the game-making thing. Imagos Films is coming out with a feature film about what happened here, regardless of the result of it. I'm hedging bets here. I'm letting you guys in on it. You're part of a thing already. Not a stretch goal. Don't need the stretch goal. It's already happening. Guys sitting right here recording. It's not to like make money or whatever. No, it's to document and have value of this event. Was it great? Was it the greatest game ever made? Awesome. We have a documentary about the making of the greatest game ever made. Was it the greatest game never made? We have a documentary of us crashing and burning and jumping off of bridges and all kinds of stuff. So that's why Starr Mazer TV is a thing. That's why everywhere you see us, I know Faziski, you saw this. Everywhere we go, there's a camera floating around taking pictures and video. There's a reason for that, and that's because we want to not only document. This is another thing on a parallel path. Every time we ask anybody who's been successful or has failed at Kickstarter what happened, what went right and what went wrong, nobody actually knows. We're going to know what happened in our Kickstarter, what made it good and what made it bad. We're going to be able to review 30 days of footage, 11 hours a day probably of footage, and figure out what exactly happened, man. Like that's important. But also the documentary film, that's going to happen. So yeah.
Switch, yeah, I remember the stream. Those were good times. Those were the best times. Remember when we had pizza? That was the best.
Hey guys, remember when Stream?
Yeah.
Good times. Remember when we could afford pizza?
People used to just send us
pizza.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, we fully expect that things are going to go really well. Yeah, Kazuo will save us. That's totally right. But no, we very much expect everything to go positively. It seems to be going very positively now. And what would be really cool is to include it in your purchase of the game, if this is the thing we do. get either a digital download link or something to this documentary that says, hey, look at the thing we did, and this is how we did it. We did it with your help, and this is all the cool stuff. Or like, man, we thought we were going to make a game. Oh, oops. Man. So, $100,000 by Sunday. Yeah. If you go over $100,000 on Sunday, if you go $1 over, we're going to have another milestone that we're going to set, probably in tonight's update, that we'll set up from everywhere from realistic to ridiculous, things that we can get for hitting that milestone this Sunday night. We've got to break $100,000 in the next 48 hours. It has to happen. If we want to keep our trekking. Now, I know Kickstarter, at the end, it all goes. Yeah, I get that, but I'm not going to rely on some anecdotal idea that at the end we're going to get all of our money. I'm not expecting that. I'm not relying on it. I'm expecting real people to give real value to the product they like. And the best way to do that is to get us to the points we think. I know statistically if we hit $100,000 by Sunday, we should be, at the worst case scenario, able to hit it in the next 2 weeks. Hit our goal, our funding goal. If we don't, it's going to be weird. I would hope that we get to that end and everybody's anecdotal spike happens and we have all the stretch goals, and that'd be great. But I just want to make a game. When we hit that minimum goal, then I'll start worrying heavily about all the cool stuff we can do. But I made you guys a promise. You have to make me a promise back. We're going to make this game. We're almost at 93K. Yes, we are.
That's good.
That's
Thank
very
you
good.
so much.
This
Awesome.
morning, we were at like 88K.
Yeah.
So we've come a long way in one day. We want to come almost that distance. We want to go almost that distance in the next 2 days. So I think that's doable. So let's try to make that happen. If we go farther though, the farther we go this weekend, the farther we'll end up ultimately going, the more we'll have opportunity to hit those stretch goals, the more we'll have opportunity to do crazy things, like getting the famous voice actors, making the live action thing, and making that TurboGrafx 16D make this is all a sham, guys. I'm saying it on film. It's all a big joke. I don't care about your PCs and your Xboxes and your 3D whatever game pluggy systems. I want that TurboGrafx. That's all. It's a sham. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
And yeah, totally, the Seeker, you have friends here. Look you are now surrounded by friends.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we're out of time, guys.
Yeah, we hit that. Yeah, we are 1 minute away. So let's spend that 1 minute, him getting ready to close up, and us saying thank you so much. I again am Don Thacker, director of Starr Mazer.
Vanessa, writer.
And what was it? Something Lotus Man?
Violent
Lotus Man, also known as Auston Montville, the game developer of Starr Mazer.
And this is Kazuo. Step in.
I'm Kazuo Maeda, social media ninja.
Yep.
Doing all this.
He's like, I don't have time for
and
goodbyes.
You are awesome.
Yeah, keep your eye on our updates and on our Twitter account and Facebook and all that other nice stuff to see when we're going to do Starr Mazer TV again. Once we're past the Kickstarter, we'll make a regular scheduled thing and you can plan your life around it. It'll be great. Yeah. But until then, follow us, tell all your friends about us. Let us get to that 100,000. Keep your eye on the update tonight. We're going to let you know what our goals are this weekend. If we hit $100,000, we'll be just on the line. If we can break that $100,000, we can get to 120 or something, then we're talking about making stretch goals easily. So let's try to make it happen, guys. Thank you very much for your support.